More growth means more employees spending money on.
His reactions that have been trailing the recent interview granted by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as it relates to the 2027 general election, and more specifically as it relates to the presidential ticket of the ADC. We'll start the conversation first with the spokesperson of the Kwankwasiyya movement, Honorable Abib Melemo, who is joining us live from our Kano studio. Honorable, thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Yes. So, Honorable, let me begin with the formal reaction from the Kwankwasiyya movement, because it's believed that whatever the Kwankwasiyya movement says is considered the position of Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso on matters that relates to politics and the movement activity. Former Vice President described himself yesterday as the most popular politician in northern Nigeria, while suggesting that your principal, Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, influence is largely confined to Kano, where he governed for 2 terms, and that even that influence is diminishing at the moment. Do you see this as a political assessment, a critical assessment of where Senator Kwankwaso is at the moment, or do you think this is a deliberate attempt to undermine Kwankwaso's popularity ahead of the coalition's talks on the ticket?
Well, thank you. First, I would like to start by thanking God Almighty and also you for giving us this opportunity to actually clarify a few things. And I would like to first acknowledge the fact that His Excellency, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is actually entitled to his own opinion, and we cannot actually contest that. But I think I have observed and watched that particular interview, and to a large extent, I believe that the reality on the ground is actually in sharp contrast to his perception. Because I think popularity sometimes is a matter of context. And I think he has viewed it from his own particular context, where he has already, for a several period, he has been contesting election under a platform of a well-structured political party, which actually has the elite consensus and broad-based support across Nigeria, which I believe contributed largely to the number of the people, or to the PIGO he has actually called as having the largest vote within the north, or rather in the north where he feels is dominant. And I believe if my principal, or probably any other person, have gotten that a similar chance, especially if we take into context my principal when he contested the election under a platform of NMPP, relatively unknown party, without the backing of the elite, and in fact he was there by himself, and he was able to garner more than 1.5 or around 1.5 million votes, which everybody believes is an organic vote, and wherever he is, irrespective of the political party, he will have this particular applause along with him. And I believe if only he has gotten a platform which is well structured, probably like PDP, that have governors and several other people ranging from the councillors down to members House of Reps and what have you, and where there is also a convergence of aspiration, because the governor himself is aspiring, probably all the members of Rep and what have you are going to put in their own effort in trying to see that they have worked for him and secure all those votes for him. And I want to put it clearly to all Nigerians, as it is today, I think it is only Peter Obi and my principal, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, that have organic followers that are not induced by anything rather than the fact that their individual aspirations lies also in the belief of the ability and the competencies of those leaders to deliver Nigerian, and also their track record also has proven that they are together with the masses. And I believe at this point, to me, this is not actually the conversation that we should be actually talking about. My principal has made it very clear to us that we are going into that coalition simply because the sole intention is to make sure that we have forged together.
We would like for you to be more specific.
Nigerian democracy.
Are you rejecting the position? Are you rejecting the specific points made by the vice president about his popularity? Are you saying that Kwankwaso is more popular than Atiku across the north? Is that your position?
Well, I think I have done justice to that question because I told you, if you talk of the figure he's saying, well, it's true. He has contested under a platform of PDP, much more organized political party, where he has the support of the governors and support of several other people. You understand?
Yes.
Which you cannot actually deduce his own or votes that are accrued to him due to his own popularity. You understand? And those votes that are accrued from the elite consensus and support from other broad-based politicians that are within the same fold there. And I'm giving you also another scenario where Peter Obi and Kwankwaso stood on their own and become synonymous to the party they so joined, you understand, because of their personal popularity, and make an impact in an election where nobody gives them the chance. And that will have been a basis of comparison. If only he has stand like as they do, you understand, in a political party that has virtually no structure, becoming the structure of the political party, you understand, then we will be able to actually say, okay, right, we have accepted his assertion or not. And I tell you, okay, let's assume the late president, we have Umar Musa Yar'Adua, you understand, he might be one of the least popular persons, but because he has a structure, he has a political party that is broad-based, you understand, he was able to actually become the president.
Yes,
anybody who has such a compact structure,
yes, you understand, it seems you
garner a bigger vote than what he says.
Yes.
But as I tell you now, presently,
okay, if you can hear me now, it seems okay, you've more or less answered the question, but you were not as specific as a lot of people want with a yes or no whether you think Kwankwaso is a more popular person than Atiku in the north. However, with the position you have taken, do you consider the statement, the remarks made by the former vice president to have crossed the line into what many consider a below-the-belt punch, especially at the time that opposition figures are expected to be closing the ranks? Do you think these remarks has crossed the line?
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is based.
Well, actually, I don't want to use a stronger word than that, but actually, I believe as at this particular point in time, all of us that are in coalition will be wary of using weights or positions that instead of actually closing the ranks might end up actually widening or bringing in differences that are not expected to occur. You understand? The expectation is that these four individuals, or even in a broader base, the number of the individuals we have there, have seen a reason, you understand, to be together, and also try to understand themselves, do a SWOT analysis of the individuals, leaders there, you understand, and be able also to converge and make a stronger position for them to be able to actually save Nigeria from the grips of the presidency and also the intention of the government in trying to ensure that people's voices are not heard, opposition are crushed, political parties do not survive, and also give themselves a chance to just ride on the psychological Wi-Fi, you understand, to actually return back through the back door. And I think what we need at the moment is for us to be able to now begin to identify the strength we have in the areas we have, and also to be able to provide a kind of a workable solution You understand? For us to maintain and be able to defeat the present government.
Right.
And I believe we can look into individual strength, we can look into where the structure needs to be there and be able to do that. So therefore, to me, it's actually unfortunate that issues like this and issues of zoning and several other issues should start creeping in as we prepare to actually have a common front and also take the government of President Tinubu.
Yeah, talking about individual strengths, former Vice President yesterday, when he was making the remarks, suggested that the defection or the split between Senator Kwankwasiyya and his erstwhile political godson, the current governor of Kano State, Governor Amaechi, has sort of weakened the political strength, political sagacity of Senator Kwankwasiyya, especially in Kano, where it's considered that it's a strong base. From your standpoint, of course, a lot of people expect that you'll be optimistic, but do you actually, how much effect do you think the break between Senator Kwankwasiyya and Governor Kabir Abba Yusuf will have in the strength of the Kwankwasiyya movement that has been that's gone for Senator Kwankwasiyya over the years?
Well, I think for those that have actually followed the trajectory of the Kwankwasiyya movement in Kano and even beyond, they will understand and also attest to the fact that this is not the first time something like this has happened. Ganduje was once the governor under the same banner of Kwankwasiyya movement and moved out of the movement and taking away the chunk of the political appointees as well as the members of House of Reps and even the local government chairman. Yet that do not stop Kwankwasiyya from coming back stronger and even better. Because the reality of it all is that Kwankwasiyya is embedded into the individual aspiration of a common man and the downtrodden. And as such, it is only the movement that give hope to the children of the poor that once you are there, you understand they will continue to have this scholarship they are having and several other programs that the Kwankwasiyya has in place, and they have tested it beyond even the show of Kano State and all that. So therefore, it has always been a record that it is not individuals that make up the Kwankwasiyya movement. It has always been the Kwankwasiyya that made those individuals. And I think from the activities, recent activities in Kano, you understand, you will discover that as it is now, the Kwankwasiyya is even more stronger than it is before. The reason being that people of Kano are known to actually desist any form of betrayal, you understand? And also, there are a lot of other issues, especially the governor. We believe he lacks the capacity to manage political complexity of Kano State and also governance. You understand? And it has even proven now. It has taken him a while now. He could not even pick the deputy governor. You understand? And talkless of several other decisions which he ought to, you understand, take as the governor and as the leader he so want to portray himself.
Well, Honorable,
and also the fact that a lot of big fish are there in the AVC, the camp of Ganduje, who everybody knows him.
Yes. So, Honorable, I know you're optimistic and it's fair, and I think it's expected for the movement to be. Yes. So
it's a record. It's a record. Remember yes, this particular government that come on board. You understand? We do not have a single councillor. Neither do we have a member of House of Representatives.
Yes.
Nor do we even have a contractor. We have purely the masses that are behind us, and we are able to take away the government that is backed by the federal government.
Honorable, I want to take you on another dimension because
I tell you, we'll do that again.
Yes. So because of our time, so let me just quickly let's take another emerging dynamic, just 1 or 2 minutes. There's a growing pressure or growing intense campaign that is going on online, especially among supporters of former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, for a possible Obi-Kwankwaso ticket with Kwankwaso as a running mate. This was attempted sometimes in leading up to 2023 election, but it did not succeed before the election. Is this something the Kwankwasiyya movement is even considering, or is it a non-starter? And just to add it to a follow-up to it.
Yeah, actually, you see.
Yes, sorry, just before, maybe let me just add this question. If this is something that is being considered, don't you think this may set your principal Kwankwasiyya to be at odds with other leaders in the north, like former Vice President Atiku and others like former Governor Nasir El-Rufai? You may.
Well, I think we have to be very realistic. You understand? We have seen what alliances have done actually, and we have seen at times why it is necessary to look at the present reality on the ground, and for you to be able to actually attain where you want to really go. You understand? Like I told you, in the whole of the country now, everybody knows that it is only Peter Obi and Kwankwaso that have organic followers, and those followers are ready. In fact, there is a lot to benefit from a ticket like that. It will also bring, and it will cross rank, you understand, between even the northern Nigeria and the eastern, and to the large extent the southern part of the country. You understand? And I believe it's the easy sell. You understand? Once there is support of all other people there, and I believe, like it is said, it's going to be a dead on arrival once we meet. Tinubu is going to be a dead on arrival, because once you have Peter Obi and Kwankwaso working together and the support of the other leaders from the other side of the country, and I believe massively, we are not going to waste time. We are going to take it further. And I believe talking about getting at odds, you see, in a political space,
Yes.
in a political space,
Just
you see,
maybe
you have
in
to
just 20
expect
seconds, you can
several
probably
other
that.
things. But I tell you, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, just summarize that in like 10 seconds because of our time.
Hello? No, I'm trying to say, the point you are trying to say, whether they are not going to be in order with several other people, I think that is politics. So naturally, you see, they have met in a different platform. They could not work together. You understand? And now the reality before all of us, I'm not talking about the leaders alone, before all the Nigerians, is that we need to come up with something that will definitely challenge the status quo, something that will really change the situations that Nigerians are, something that will even give the politicians a chance, you understand, to even run the politics. You understand? The way things are going, the way the present government is actually taking things, they are trying to make sure that there is no opposition, no political party. They want to just run the country on one party. And we have seen how that is to Nigerians. Several loans are being taken without any challenge or security from the National Assembly.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
That are not even all that.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable. Really appreciate your time with us. Unfortunately, because of our time, and we need to also talk to the other side, we will not be able to take it further than this. But we hope that in no further distance time, you will join us again. We'll get to know more about the plans that the Kwankwasiyya have for the 20.
Guys, thank you very much for joining. Good morning to everyone. Please help me take the likes up. The likes are very low. To those that have liked, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But please, I need the likes. I need help with the likes to keep going up. So if you're watching from your phone device, you want to double tap your screen or click on the three dots. But if you're watching from your laptop or your computer, you can just like the video, please. Thank you very much.
2027 election. But thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you from Kano.
Are you looking
to the obedience movement, the perspective of the obedience movement, where you are one of the leaders in the movement and you are known or face very familiar around the former Anambra State Governor, Peter Obi. You are one of his associates that has spoken oftentimes on his behalf. Supporters of the former Anambra State Governor have been very clear that the ADC ticket should be zoned to the south. In fact, I remember one of your interviews earlier this year, you said when Obi joined, he's not coming in to demand for the ticket on a platter, but the obedient movement has consistently been saying that there should be respect for zoning, that the presidential ticket of the ADC should be zoned to the south in line with rotation principle. How do you reconcile that position with the Atiku Abubakar's insistence that he will contest regardless of zoning?
Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody in this country can recall vividly what happened after the demise of Yar'Adua. It didn't come up what we can see the Northerners, including Atiku Abubakar, as championing that cause to demand for a one-term for Jonathan to step aside because of the turn of the North. And when they couldn't get it in 2011, he contested with Jonathan, and he didn't get it. In 2015, he aligned himself, left his party to the party of APC.
Yes.
And he said that he's leaving the party purposely because of the zoning issue. It's supposed to be the time of the North. That's what he said. And then he went into APC and contested against Buhari.
And so the Kwankwaso, yes.
And he came third. He didn't even come second. Maybe Mr. Habib is trying to be a little bit diplomatic with his response when you ask him to go direct talk about it. He don't want to mention what happened in 2014 primaries. But actually, Kwankwaso came second with all what you can see. So now where we are today, people look at him because he wanted to do that. And when Buhari do his first time, like 2019, when they went to their meeting, that's the same argument that he made, saying that he's supposed to go for his last. I didn't do that in 2019. He says his last chance to participate because it's the time of the North, so he can go against Buhari. And everybody step aside to do so. So I think coming to this time of the day, what Obedience are saying and what Nigerians are saying is that we try as much as possible to have decorum in this country. We have to have respect for each other. God has created us to be in one country. And also the principle of zoning, which is that working in this party, when you are there in the party, really works for us. And it's really good to give a sense of belonging to everybody. Because us up here in the are aware that even when God asks us that you can marry from 2, 3, or 4, at the end he said that you have to give justice. Because at the end, somebody has to feel belongs to be part of it. Because even in your house, your children, if you isolate one of them and he's not feeling too comfortable for being called as a member of that family, definitely he's going to cause trouble for you. That's why we are today. So I think what Atiku Abubakar has not realized is that all eyes is on him. He is supposed to be the guide kingmaker. He's supposed to be that leader. At that age, he didn't need to do this running for him to fix what is a very strong and complex system that we have in Nigeria that needs energy for a leader to go around the country, look at what is happening to Nigerians and things like that. And also this combination, as I said, if you want to remove an incumbent president, he knows, everybody knows, you need organic followership, court-like, people that you don't have to give them anything. And this is what Kwankwasiyya and also the Obi movement have. You don't have them. Anybody that is going to be on the structure of our existing party. But these people have already tested contesting election on a stand-alone party, like the Labour Party.
If I may come in here, a lot of people are saying, what exactly is the Obedient movement afraid of? If you claim that you have this organic followership, why don't you want the process that the ADC as a party has said it's going to have? Why don't you allow it to go through and see if your principal is as popular as you think he is? Luckily for you, you have INEC saying that parties must do direct primary. Is that not a place? Is that not the first place that your principal should be testing his popularity first?
That's it. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we want to. But we have respect for elders. Atiku by next year he's going to be 80. I don't want him with the struggle that he has been doing from 1992 to this day since that we defeated him. No, it's not going to look good on him. Definitely, you know he's not going to win.
Are you saying you're asking him to leave so that it doesn't be defeated?
We are giving him a soft landing for him to take that stage where he will look good in the eyes of all Nigerian young people and hail him and hail him so that his name can be used by his children and great-grandchildren. That's what we are hoping for him. That's why we said it's good for him to look at. In Hausa, we are saying that that's time. Timing is everything in politics. This time is the time of the South. Number 2, the age is not on his side. Number 3, we have a very good cult-like movement, organic movement in Kwankwasiyya and in Obedient movement. So the things are not working on his favor. So if you are at that level, I think some people are not telling him what they're supposed to tell him, people that are around him.
If I may come in here, you are saying, sorry, if I may, you're saying you are trying to do the former vice president a favor so that he is not embarrassed at the primary. But he has insisted. Yes, he has insisted that let everybody come out and test his popularity. Why don't you just let it be? Why are you still insisting? Because the conversation on social media today was very toxic.
That one is another trap entirely. Let me tell you, no party on his right senses will go into primaries 8 months, direct primaries 8 months. It's like, do you know how much INEC voted for the next election? 800 billion.
Yes.
So tell me, if you go into direct primaries, do you know the type of cost of that party? And it's not
primary or in the election.
So what we are trying to avoid is that we talk to ourselves. We can talk to ourselves. We have parties that are doing this coalition that already zone their distance to the south.
Yes.
That the Labour Party that are working with them, they zone their distance. The part of PDP we are talking to, they zone their distance. Even APC that we are talking to, some members are joining us, they zone to the south. So I think it's something that we have to tell him, Oga, look at where we are today. You can be the hero of these young people. 75% of all the population of Nigeria are young people. They want to see a new Nigeria. They want somebody that will excite them to come out from their universities, to come and register and vote. They want somebody with energy. Look at, you do see Peter Obi today playing football. They want somebody that look like them. Somebody that.
But some Nigerians, if I may comment, some Nigerians still believe that what we actually lack is not the physicality of the leader, but the experience and the guts to go ahead and do the right thing. And that is what the former vice president for them represents.
No, I didn't agree with that. What we really need in this kind of complex Nigeria, where bombs are taking place that are going up in Borno, and the same evening is taking place in Kwara, I think we need a president that can go to 3 or 4 states in a day. That's what we need. That's
but on this zoning issue, if I may,
it fits for him to give us exactly what we are demanding. These young people that are saying they have internet now, and they can now realize and see how President Tinubu has spent almost half of the year outside the country than staying in the country. And most of the time that he's going out, he will just cover it that he's going to visit something. Everybody knows that he's been sick and been well and being sick, because old age is a reality. In Islam, it's called even like Rauni akan Rauni. That means it is weakness upon weakness. Everybody knows. We are all old. We can see how they walk. We can see how they eat. We can see how they move. Some of them, I know at the time that some of my friends went to see some of these leaders. They will tell you that you can't see them. They are sleeping, because sleeping is prescribed as part of their medicine to sleep.
Yes. Mr. If I may come in here on the zoning issue, just a moment, please. Just a moment. On the zoning issue, some of the criticism that have been coming, not necessarily from the camp of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, but even independent analysts and political scientists, is that the issue of zoning is not really democratic, that you should give open field for everybody to contest. And whoever comes, and if you listen to the interview by the former Vice President yesterday, he never said he's not going to support. In fact, he specifically said whoever comes out as the winner of whatever process is adopted, either consensus or the direct primary, is willing to support. Why is the Obedience still insisting that it should be given a la carte to Peter Obi?
We never asked for anything a la carte. I just make a simple explanation to you that direct primary that you are seeing is a booby trap for them not to allow us to have a good election. Booby trap by who? It's somebody that's been, I don't even use the journalists have been pushed by the government narrative to push us so that we are not going. And we can tell you that we are not going.
Yeah, are you saying is the government that is setting this booby trap, or is it the party?
Let me tell you, we are going, as Atiku told you yesterday, our primary objective is to have a consensus.
Okay.
And we are going to put that consensus. Atiku said it yesterday. And we all believe that is the easiest way for the party. It's not giving somebody elegant, but in order to maintain the party to go into the 2027 election against anybody. Yes. So we will not exhaust our energy just trying to do campaign and win election at the primaries. What is the primaries? Anybody can win primaries. If we don't want primaries here, we can go to another small party and we will not have primaries. So a primary is not something that somebody can just put us and say we must do, because that's what the government wants to do, we must do. But what we are happy with today is that we have the Kwankwasiyya that comes to our rescue. And then I said months ago, once Kwankwasiyya joined with Obedience, we're already going to have one of the most loudest, energetic campaign to look and incumbency. That's what we need. That's what the party wants. ADC wants to win election. They are not just need to win primaries. So we can't waste our energy, waste our talent, waste our pigment, waste everything in just trying to get somebody that can get primaries. No, we can't do that. Nobody can do this wayo and devalue for us. And we know why they remove it from the way they put it in the electoral act. So we're not going that way. What we're going is this consensus. And this consensus, we're going to look for somebody that is competent.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built.
That have compassion, that have character, that have the reach, somebody that can go around, somebody that can energize the young people to defend their vote, one, to register for PPC and defend their vote. People that work with technology to understand what we want to send the message to them and how they will send the message back for us to beat them in Nigeria. So I think the timing is good. And I love Atiku Abubakar to finish in a very good note, where young people will worship him. They will see him as a kingmaker, somebody that has set the direction for Nigeria to take herself back from this from the APC, which is going to be a fantastic story for him if they are right. But if he goes into anything and goes and then at the end his name was written that he's been beaten at the last, so it's not going to be good for him and it's not going to be good for his followers. And I know a lot of his followers that are aligning with this system. Yes. We need energetic, court-like followership. People that cannot be bought. Because for example, if it's people, he's going to get it's a structure that he needs, and he has to go to get people that are going to be at what level. And maybe he paid. But we want our own true obedience to participants.
Yes. Maybe we should just go a little bit down the memory lane. This political romance, so to say, that is being talked about now by the obedient movement, that is between Peter Obi and Kwankwaso, did not start this year, it did not start last year. Leading to 2023 election, there was this talk that both of them should come together, and the former Kano governor refused at that time to be the vice president on the ticket. At this point, what is giving the obedient, what is giving you, what is giving your principal the assurance that Kwankwaso is going to take the vice president? Is there any gentleman agreement on ground? Is Kwankwaso brought into ADC by some strong individuals and to convince Obi to run on the ticket? Is there any agreement?
I can tell you. Habib is trying to be politically correct, so he's not trying to tell you. I can tell you that the APC, yes. They have talked, not once, not twice, not three times. They have six. We are already arranging our system. Soon you will see the summit between Obedient and Kwankwasiyya.
Are you saying? Are you saying that Kwankwasiyya has agreed to be the vice presidential running mate to Atiku, to Peter Obi?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Very well. Yes, that's what he said. That's what everybody, we all know. Habib knows this. I know this. Everybody that is in our camp is aware of it. Everybody that is in the camp of Kwankwasiyya is aware of that.
there are allegations that this ticket, so to say, is being sponsored by a former president of the country, who will not need to mention his name, and that the idea is to just not support Atiku, and that there is plan that if they don't get it on ADC, that you are moving to another party. What essentially is the motive? Is it just to defeat the incumbent or just to stop Atiku from getting it?
Let me tell you, because few people on this part of the journalists, let me give you, as I talk to you today, now it's just 20 minutes to 9 o'clock. As I talk to you today, it may be raining somewhere, but I can bet you there is a lot of Nigerians that are what? That are inside the bush as kidnapped with the kidnappers. Some women are being raped as we talk now as I talk. Some roads have already been blocked. Some military men are now repelling bandits of Boko Haram in Borno or in Sokoto and other places. There is more than 1 million people, as I talk to you now, that are in IDPs in their own country. These people are praying.
Yes.
They are asking God for their help. So it's not about what we are bickering here. It's about what God wants to do for them. So He will align us. When He was aligning them in 2014,
you didn't answer my question.
That at the Asuaju will work with Buhari, Asuaju will work with Nasubi. You know how the enmity between these people, but they work together because God wants to remove PDP. So at the same time now, we don't have any
sorry,
issue with
Alhaji Abdulkarim, the question Nigerians are asking, which I put to you and I really want you to address, is that is this Obi-Kwankwaso ticket permutation, is it strictly just to frustrate the presidential ambition of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and that this is being sponsored by a former president who is against this ambition?
It will never be like that. It will never be. We were not small people. If you see David Mark, he has achieved everything in his life. Everything, I can tell you. He was a Senate president, a governor, a minister, everything.
So I'm saying, I'm trying to get off these blood pressure drugs because I know it's not doing me any good.
I don't think he will come to a position where somebody wants to use him just to frustrate somebody. No, you are taking too low on them. Look at Erebe Sola, a minister, a governor, a commissioner, he has achieved everything. You can't think of them coming together just to come and belittle somebody. No. If we are doing politics, let's talk politics. What we are trying to do and what we are interested in doing is that to give the best ticket that can energize young people, energize the base, make people go and win election against the incumbent. That's what we want to do. Depends on if you even call it Obasanjo. Obasanjo is looking at who will win. If he know, let me tell you, I always have this conversation, and I know Peter Obi will always say, he look at the chances. He's not looking at, he said, if I know I'm not winning, I will not contest. He always tells, he said, if we're not seeing the polls, we're not seeing this thing that he's winning, he will not come. Even Kwankwasiyya himself, that's what he said. He said, if I know Obi will pull the number of 6 million, that I will have accepted to be his vice president.
Yes. Let's pivot a little outside the zoning. Okay, maybe just finish your thoughts. You can finish your thoughts.
Yeah. So what we intend to do is that we are trying to be realistic. We don't want to just grab power. We don't want to just remove Asuaju Bola Tinubu. We want to bring workers, people that are known for young people. Look at Kwankwasiyya. Look at what Habib is saying. Up to today, you will see Kwankwasiyya people that are going on his scholarship. Up to yesterday and today, you see Peter Obi giving out money to nursing schools, Almatis and others. These are people that people know and believe in them. And they are there for the masses. And they don't want any bourgeois around them. They want somebody they are like them. So that's why they have this call for loyalty. These young people in the Obedient movement think that and believe that Peter Obi can fix this country. The people that are following what's his name? They believe that he will fix this country. And we now see that these two combinations will give us the fire and the energy that we need for us to remove it.
Yes, talking about the combination and the result expected from this, and also moving away from the zoning argument, these developments is already raising intense online clashes between supporters of Peter Obi and supporters of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. But the figures that came from 2023 election indicates that either side needs the other side. Even if the Peter Obi supports, you are denying that? You don't think you need the side of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar? Looking at the figures from the 2023 election, former Vice President got almost 7 million votes.
In his mouth. I hope he doesn't fall.
Former Vice President get almost 7 million votes. Your principal got about 6 million votes or so, about 6.1 million. And Rabi Musa Kwankwasiyya got about 1.something million votes. Are you saying that just the vote of your principal and that of Kwankwasiyya is enough to defeat the incumbent? You don't need the Vice President? Is that what you're saying?
No, what we are saying right from the beginning, we said, we want him to be the king maker, to come and show the direction and being a leader. That's what I said. I remember vividly, that's what I said from the beginning. I said we don't want him to go into this arena of go to direct primaries with him, blah, blah, which we know we are still going to win. But what we are saying is that if Habib just explained this to you, if you give Peter Obi PDP and give Atiku Abubakar Labour Party in 2023 election, Atiku will not get the vote that Peter Obi garnered on that Labour Party. And Peter,
is that a fact or is just a supposition?
Like the number of
do you have facts to support that, or is that a supposition?
What
I'm saying, do you have facts to support that Vice President does not have his own organic voters?
What we are saying is that if you see people that have organic followership and also they prove themselves on a smaller parties, that's what I'm telling you. On a smaller parties without a governor. But people 1.5 billion vote in NMPP.
Yes.
And also what we think is that if we are coming this time around,
yes,
what we need to tell them clearly is that it's not that we don't need them, but we want them to understand we need a president that will work. We just don't want to just anoint somebody to be a president and just be in the villa and give directives, because it happens during Buhari and we didn't get anywhere out of where we are. It happens during Tinubu now and we are not getting anything. So we can't make the third mistake again. What we need to do is that we bring a ticket, as Habib now said in Kwankwasiyya, a ticket that will bring the two parts of the country together, bringing the south and the north together. We need a unity. Peter Obi used to call it unity for prosperity. This we really need this leadership. We really need to work together. It's very important for the country. This unity that people are taking it for granted, that's the stepping stone for us to go to where we want to go as a developed country. We can't develop ourselves if we hate each other, if we are going against each other, if we are just talking. But what we need to do is that this comfort that we are giving each other, okay, this is time for the north, and this is time for the country. And that's why some of us are even against the Muslim ticket, because we said we are a country of.
They don't want you to know about it.
Hey. Did you know you might get a big cash payout?
Everybody, let's see, give each one of us a sense of belonging, because it will help the country to move forward. Yes. So that's what we are asking for. So I'm not saying that we don't need them, but we want them to see reason that we are doing this thing for the betterment of this country. And the people that you see in the Kwankwasiyya movement and the people we are seeing as forbidden, they just patriotic Nigerians. It's not that because they hate Atiku or they hate his the way he looks. No, that's not the problem. What the problem is that they don't want to get the way we did during Buhari, get this incumbent government out and put somebody that we know is not going to give us exactly what these young people are dreaming and what they want to have. Because if you come and contest election for almost 30 or 40 years, definitely you have associated, you have people that will come to claim that you're victory. If you have a large family, it's going to affect you, and if you have age problem, it's going to affect you. So there's a lot of things that is not working for Mr. Atiku Abubakar at this moment. It's time. That's the time
as we begin to round up, if I may just take this question to you.
You can do a lot of things. Now it's not this time.
If you may just respond to this as we begin to round up. Looking at the exchanges that we saw on social media since yesterday, continuing to today, it's been very, very volatile, so to say, between these two camps. Is there, if zoning arrangements is not able to be settled on, and this matter goes into consensus and consensus does not work, and they have to go into direct primaries, is the obedient movement at any point considering compromising, maybe for the success of the coalition, for the success of the opposition? Because a lot of people are saying that the exchange is already online now, is already showing signs of cracks between and among the leaders of the coalition. So is there any stage you can get to that you compromise?
No crack, Oga.
Listen, we don't have any issue now. People of Atiku, people said our principal is the vice principal, is the vice president candidate to them. It's an insult to us. Our candidate or our principal is not going around the world to come and be a vice president candidate. It's not going to ADC to be the vice president of anybody. Us that we are registering as obedient, we are not registering for him to come and be a vice president candidate.
So are you saying there won't be any compromise? Is that what you're saying?
I've seen, and we now have seen another group, because we're not working with them. They don't like us, we don't like them, and they don't want to compromise, we don't want to compromise. Then we have somebody that came natural, and the natural love, well, in between the two of us, that's the Kwankwasiyya. And we said, oh, if we can work with this one, why not? If I go to your house and you reject me, and your neighbor now said, welcome, Brian, let's have a meal, well, we will enter. So what we are doing is that we're looking for what's best for our candidate, what's best for us for Nigeria. Because we not want to have a country. This is a primary time. If you are watching American primaries, that's how it works. In the last mayor of New York, that's what happened. Even Kumo left and become independent candidate because he still want to contest when this guy defeated him in the Democrat. So that's how it goes. It's democracy. In democracy, people are free. We are free to say Peter Obi wants to be president. It's free for him to
Mine
say
now,
that he wants to be president.
As I
Because here we can say they are okay with what he wants to get from the arrangement. Everybody has something that he wants to offer, and everybody has something that he wants to collect. But what we think is that because of the lifestyle of Senator Obi-Kwankwaso and the lifestyle of Mr. Peter Obi are affordable for Nigeria. We know how they live, we know how they eat, we know how they work. And the young people are saying that if you go close to these people, a lot of people that don't know anybody, they don't have any godfather, they don't have anything, can become somebody without knowing anybody. So these are the things that is motivating all of us to be around these people. And we see that they are coming together, one from the south, one from the north. At least the ticket is not going to be toxic. The ticket is going to give us a lot of ginger. We are going to do a lot of work together. You see us here, people, you see us from the southern part of the country. Everybody will work together. This is the life that we want to bring to that campaign. And it's because of the campaign to remove an incumbent. It's not supposed to be flat like 2019. It's supposed to be very, very energetic like 2014, 2015. That's what we are asking for. And we think this marriage can give us that. So if they are not happy, I know that's why they are not happy with the coming of Kwankwasiyya into the party. If they will dash him out to the APC, I know definitely they can dash him out to the APC. But now this reality is in front of us. He's in ADC and he wants to work with Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi wants to work with him. Obedient wants to work with Kwankwasiyya. Kwankwasiyya wants to work with Obedient. So this is where we are today.
Yes, you said, sorry if I may.
We need your help to save the masjid where over 100 Americans have accepted Islam. This is your brother.
We can work together. They are our friends. We are going to save Nigeria together. But if you don't like us,
yes, if I may just come in, a lot of people are saying, independent people that are sitting by the corner and watching are saying that these big bucks that is being exchanged, the salvos being exchanged between your group, your camp, and that of the former Vice President Atiku is doing the opposition no good. If anything, it shows that you are playing to the hands of the ruling APC. You could see the statement by the presidency, the spokesman to the president, to the Nanuga. In one part, he said Obi should vote out. Are you not inadvertently weakening the opposition's chances with these exchanges, these bitter exchanges online?
It works now, but after it works, we still when we didn't work with MAGA, they were so volatile against the Republicans.
I'm telling you,
they sit together and win election. That's how it works. We just can't use that and start romancing and start saying, no, we have to sell our candidate. The idea of this kind of project is that come and sell it. Go and see our candidate. We are selling our candidate. Now we have another candidate that have joined us and we put together to sell all of them together.
Yes.
We are going to keep on selling the ticket up to the day that we are going to into whatever arrangement you want us to do.
Time is not on our side. Yeah, time is not on our side. Just in one word, yes or no. Will the obedience compromise if zoning is not? Yes or no?
Lie.
No. We didn't say zoning. We say we will not compromise if the party compromise. So thank
you very much. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, thank you, Elijah Abdulkarim, for joining us. Unfortunately, we do not have enough time to.
I beg you, hello Joko. I beg. Una know say Amaechi was on channels today, so we're about to listen to Amaechi as candidate. Oh my God. I beg Naomi continue to like the video. I beg.
Who is not, it doesn't need any form of introduction. Former governor of Rivers State, former minister of transportation, and a key figure contender for the 2027 presidential election in the ADC, Mr. Rotimi Amaechi. Your Excellency, good morning and welcome to the program. Your Excellency, if you can hear us, good morning, sir.
I said good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you for coming on the program this morning. I think we'll just start from what has been playing out in the last less than 24 hours. Let's start from there before we dig deep into other things as far as the state of the nation and the opposition is concerned. The president was speaking with renewed hope ambassadors yesterday, represented across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. And it was literally rallying his people to say, look, we can get this done. In fact, with you guys, it's a done deal. I have nothing to fear. I'm not intimidated by anyone. If there's anything they cannot do is to intimidate me. It looks like, despite the rallying of the opposition, the formidable force the ADC is causing, the president, doesn't look flustered. You've been with him. You've seen how this thing play out. You were at the vanguard of the APC in 2015 on the streets, and you led the campaign of Muhammadu Buhari twice. What do you think the president is saying? And is it that confident? Is the ADC also looking at him and saying, maybe this man is really ready for us?
If he's confident, tell him to tell Nuhu Ribadu to leave the judiciary INEC if he's confident. Why apply the use of the institutions, the federal institutions against ADC? tell him that if he's confident, he should instruct his national secretary advisor to lead the judiciary and INEC alone and see whether he will win the election.
What do you mean by, Your Excellency, what do you mean? That's a strong allegation. Are you saying Nuhu Ribadu is intimidating the judiciary or the INEC? What are you saying in essence? Because their job doesn't look like they meet at any point in time. I will not explain. If you don't have eyes, leave it. Even Nuhu knows that. And he brags about it. That's the funny part of it. If he thinks he's capable of winning the election, they should allow the INEC and judiciary alone. Look at the interpretation of the ruling or judgment by the Court of Appeal. Amufidan interpreted the judgment to be that we are leaderless. But that's not true. And that's not what the law says. Are you saying, sir, that in a free, fair, credible election, that Bola Tinubu will lose with all he has in terms of 36 governors, lawmakers, and his rallying team across the grassroots? Whether free, fair, or unfair and not free, if we are on the ballot, President Bola Tinubu will lose the election. Take it for free. Take it for granted. Look, the problem is he does not want a strong candidate on the ballot. So what are they doing? What they're doing is that they're interfering with all the parties using the judiciary as an institution. So every day they go to court, they get all sorts of funny judgments and all that. Let them allow the institutions to pursue justice. Let there be justice. And let them allow all the political parties to have candidates on the ballot and see whether President Bola Tinubu will win. How can he win with such an economy? How can he win with such an insecurity? How can he win when the president can't even campaign? When the president will stop at Plateau Airport. So how will he go to start to campaign in Plateau? I don't think we should address this issue. If you want to address us about that issue, then we go to that point. The point is, the strategy they are applying is simple. Let us use government institutions to stop the people. Simple.
Simple. I only pay $10 a month for my internet connection. Fast, unlimited, anywhere.
Have you heard about Ryoko Pro?
And speaking of winning, you are a major contender for the ADC ticket, all things being equal. But you also worked under the last administration of late President Muhammadu Buhari, a key minister in that administration. And as my colleague has just mentioned, you led his campaign twice. And for many, that administration set Nigeria back many years in terms of its management of the economy and finances. So for those who see your aspiration, and perhaps if you eventually got the ticket as a minus, a baggage for Nigeria rather than a plus, what do you say to them? How would you defend your aspiration as a contender for the presidential ticket?
First, I don't agree with you. There's a difference between myself and President Buhari. I was governor of that state. Now we do a referendum. All the candidates who are, or aspirants who are running for presidency, including President Bola Tinubu, have served government. Do a referendum. Go to Peter Obi, go to Anambra State and see what he's done. Go to the Vice President Atiku was Vice President. Let's see what he's done. Let's see what he's done in customs. Let's look at what Tinubu did in Lagos. Let's look at what Tinubu did in Nigeria now. Come to Amaechi in River State. See what I've done in River State. Look at what I've done in transportation and choose who will be the presidential candidate or choose who will be the president. That's what to do. When you now compare, oh, you were part of President Buhari's government. Of course I was. We were better than Tinubu by far. From the day I left Minister of Transport, that is the day the construction stopped. We put the security facilities in place in our water, and there was security in our water. Is it the same thing today? Now they are paying 1.something trillion naira to militants to protect pipes. Did we do that? Was corruption this high? Was the bag of rice this costly? Were people being killed over here in this magnitude? Yes, people are dying in Buhari's government, not in this magnitude. Where governors will enter armored personnel carrier to address their citizens. For Christ's sake, can you please? Look, let the country assess us based on all the things. We have held public positions. All of us have held public positions. I was speaker, so assess me by the role I played as Speaker of Parliament in Liberty. I was governor. Go and assess what I did. I'm the only governor in Nigeria who confronted insecurity and surmounted insecurity in Nigeria. So check that. That's what you should do. You just check all that so we can stop this argument of who is a better candidate, who is a better president, who can manage the country. I manage the country for not in the mandate of the president. I manage the Minister of Transport. I share my responsibility as the Minister of Transport. I completed the Kaduna-Abuja rail line. I started and completed the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. I built a brand new seaport that Lagos government was claiming that they built it. I built it from beginning to the end, completed the Lekki deep seaport. I started it, I broke the ground, I completed it. Because I resigned as minister, the Lagos government currently got President Buhari to commission it. I built a train factory where locomotives and coaches can be assembled here in Nigeria. Nobody knows. They've abandoned it. It's abandoned, completed. So ordinarily by now we should be producing or assembling coaches and locomotives. But it's completely abandoned. It's somewhere close to Lagos, completed. And that was not even something that government paid for. It was part of my agreement with the company that must do something in Nigeria. So when you ask the question, oh, you are part of Buhari's government, of course I was. Was this Buhari government better than this government? Of course it was. It's better than President Buhari, President Tinubu's government. You see? The difference between me and all candidates you mentioned, for example, I'm the only national candidate. I'm the only Nigerian candidate. I'm neither Igbo, some are running as Igbo candidates. I'm neither Hausa Fulani, some are running as Hausa. Vote for me because I'm Hausa Fulani. I'm saying vote for me because I'm Nigerian. President Atiku is running because he's Yoruba man. I'm running as, look, I don't care who else is running. I'm running because I'm a Nigerian candidate, because I know the Nigerian problem, and I can solve the Nigerian problem.
Well, it looks like you're asking Nigerians, to pick between, two evils, perhaps the lesser evil. And perhaps Nigerians may be wanting to ask you if you would take responsibility for selling the last administration to them. But let's make progress in the conversation now and look at other issues. And it may not be lost.
Not correct. You're not correct. I didn't say choose between you. I said compare all the activities of everybody who has held the position before in the past. Do a referendum and choose from there.
But would you take responsibility for selling the last administration to Nigerians? But the administration failed Nigerians.
You're saying that. I said compare the last government to the present government. This is worse. This is absolutely worse.
But let's leave that for Nigerians to decide. I move to another very important matter, and it may not be lost on Nigerians that the coalition leaders, are coming out to speak to them one after the other. And drawing from the comments of former Vice President, who also spoke recently, who has spoken to the matter of zoning and said, in fairness to the North, if you do the calculation, the North has not actually had the same number of years that the South has had to run, and that in that regard, he is a contender for the ticket, regardless of the subject of zoning. What would you say to that, especially as it has implications for who would now eventually emerge as the presidential flag bearer of the ADC, all things being equal? Would you be willing to stand down should Alhaji Atiku Abubakar becomes the contender, the flag bearer of the ADC ticket?
Of course, if he wins, I will support him. But beyond him winning, whether it has to be primary, I don't agree with those who say they are consensus candidates. Let's face the people, which who they want in the party. But let's look at Vice President Atiku. He's eminently qualified to be the president of Nigeria. He's within his right to contest for the office of the president of Nigeria. The issue of zoning or no zoning, what President Atiku will realize, Vice President Atiku will have to realize is that when we're all in PDP, it's the only thing in the PDP thing. When we started, it should start from when PDP started the zoning and say whether it's been fair to the South. But I don't agree with South North or not or whatever. What I agree with is that the most qualified candidate be allowed to govern to be elected. Now let's look at it. Now the 49-year-old president has been elected in Benin Republic. So how would any president who is in his 70s, and the youngest candidate among all those running now, 60. The rest of them are 60s and 70. And President Atiku says 74, and President Atiku is 80, and I'm 60. Now, this requires capacity. It requires capacity at least to wake up in the morning, at least to be able to keep awake and listen to people, at least to be able to look at the problems, at least to put yourself on the road, say to Jos, to find out what's happening in Jos. At least to be able to go to Kano State and find out who. Look, if I'm the president, I'll be at the forefront of those who are fighting the war to stop the street. So we have a president who can wake up in the morning before 12 and see people and say what's going on, and be briefed and say, okay, can we have more meetings? Can we go and find solutions to problems? So Atiku is within President Atiku is within his right to say I want to run. Nobody's stopping him from wanting to run. But then he has to also understand that there are other factors beyond where he comes from. So I told you earlier, I said I'm not running because I'm not a regional candidate. They are all regional candidates. I'm not a regional candidate. I'm not saying vote for me because I'm Igbo. I'm partially Igbo. By my name, you can see that. But that does not, I'm not saying vote for me, I'm Igbo. No. I'm not also saying vote for me because I'm Hausa Fulani. I have said to Nigerians, leave religion and ethnicity alone. That's what put us here. Those who helped President Tinubu to become president were pursuing the religious agenda. They were so happy to do a Muslim ticket. They were so happy that they have overcome the other religions in Nigeria. Today, they have discovered that the market does not know Christians or Muslims. The market does not know that. The market understands just one language, Naira and Kobo. It doesn't understand any language. Now everybody's suffering. Everybody's looking for food to eat. People can buy fuel. People can travel. Now the airlines are threatening to increase cost of transportation. Everything is skyrocketing. For Christ's sake, President Tinubu does not have the right to speak. He doesn't. He promised power and say if he doesn't give power, they should not vote for him. So I just wanted to vote him out.
Right. Well,
same manner, if Vice President Atiku is saying the only qualification he has to be president is because he's from the North. Well, I'm good. Let's look at it from his own perspective, if that qualifies him. But like I said, it's within his right to contest. Let's go and do the primary election. If he is telling Nigeria to vote for me because I'm a Northern, then it means that on the election they not vote for him, so should not vote for him. That's what he's saying.
Well,
is what you're telling me?
Right. It's quite interesting, your approach. You're not only disqualifying the candidate of the APC and the president, you're also doing that for your colleagues in the coalition, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Peter Obi.
I wonder what that will do to the current coalition, because it looks like a bull in a china shop. There's going to be a lot of damage even within the coalition. Yes, maybe doing damage to the ruling party, but even the coalition, by actively disqualifying them on the basis of age, their own ethnicity, whether they are running as a House of Fulani candidate or as an Igbo candidate. Don't you think that will do more harm to the coalition?
No. I'm saying the question she asked is that when Vice President Atiku was interviewed, he said, look, the North has not had enough to match the South. And I said, for me as a candidate, it doesn't matter whether you're from the North or the South. There are other factors that play. The Vice President is within his right to contest. Nobody should stop him because he's a Northerner or because he's not a Northerner. No, you can't say to him, look, because you're not qualified. You're emphasizing Northern elites who are qualified to contest position. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. As I was saying that he's eminently qualified to be the president of the country. He has been vice president. He has governed with President Obasanjo. I'm also saying that there are other factors to consider in governance. So the argument that the vice president has put in place of North and South will not be the only factor. There's a factor of age and a factor of capacity which I'm saying that Tinubu does not possess. We have not checked the capacity of Vice President Atiku because he has not been a president. We have seen the capacity of President Tinubu. Peter Obi was governor of Anambra State. He did well as governor of Anambra State. You can't also put him aside. I'm saying, but I will not run as an Igbo candidate. I'm not an Igbo candidate. A Nigerian candidate. I will not run as a Northern candidate because I'm a Nigerian candidate. Because I understand the problem of the South. I understand the problem of the North. I understand everybody's problem. And by God's grace, if I'm elected, I will do my responsibility. I will share my responsibility very well. So it is not about my colleagues in the other party, in my party. It is more about when you say that the vice president is talking about zoning. And I say I'm not interested in zoning. Right. I'm not.
Right. So I wanted to talk to the issues as well. I mean, we talk about all the ancillary issues, but let's take a look at the current government, President Bola Tinubu's administration. For the economy, he removed subsidy for the FX and for petrol as well. For education, there's a student loan, which is being touted as one of the wins of this government. For security, for example, there's the move towards state police. In fact, the IGP has submitted a working document to the National Assembly, and the President has spoken to it time and again. There was meant to be that win, in quote, for local government autonomy that this government pushed to the Supreme Court to give a judgment. So the big question is, what would you do differently?
Show your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful gift. It says,
if these policies you just mentioned are the policies that are about, I would not be part of the policies. The policies, there are policies that President Tinubu portray that are not as they seem to be. What's making them bad now is because the funds that are coming out of the savings are going to private pockets. Let the president account for those money. If those money were put back into the economy, individuals, society, Nigeria would be better than what it is now.
Which of the funds do you refer to?
I'm referring, for instance, the what they call this one, the savings coming from oil. So where's the money?
You say it's going to private pockets?
Of course. If it's not going to private pockets, where's the money? What have they done with the money?
Well, the government has said time and again that the states are getting more, and we see that the figures are more than they used to be. So which of the private pockets are these monies going into?
The fact that the money is going to the state does not also in any way discharge the responsibility of the president asking what is happening to the money or the city asking for what's happening to the money. Now, even if it goes to the state, so what are the developments to the states? Let's go to education. There are no schools where you can see new primary schools. There are no states where I've seen new primary schools or I've seen teachers hired or I have seen improvements in education. I've not seen any. Currently, we have 20 million out of school children. 20 million. When I was governor, it was 10 million. So less than 10 years ago, they've added another 10 million. How? Under Buhari was less than 15 million. So in less than 2-3 years of President Buhari, we have added about 6 million out of school children. So we're not 20 million. So the question becomes, so what is he doing as a president? Now,
that figure at 10.5. Pardon me, just for the out-of-school children, the UNICEF puts it at 10.5. So perhaps you have another figure?
No, that's not correct. I wish I had my documents here. Okay. I can be 10.5. I think it was 10 million when I was governor.
Oh, so who's your figure credited to?
The UNESCO. I'll get that to you. I'll get that to you.
All right.
But I'll get that to you. I will. If you give me the next 15 minutes, I'll give you that information. And I have the facts to that case. So the question to ask is President Tinubu making improvements in education by introducing loans? No. He publishes you, then introduces loan as a way to assuage your feeling. That doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. So I think that he pulling us backward.
Sorry, just to be clear, for the 10.5 is for GSS. So together, I think it's about 18.5 million. The government also disputes that. So that might be closer to the figure you put. But there's the education bit. There's a security bit.
I think I've seen here out of school children population with estimates ranging from 80 million.
Right. So there's the other bits of the question about what you will do differently, and I think that's one of the conversations they have put out. Are you going to reverse some of them in terms of
let's do what I would do differently.
Right.
The first thing is that the president needs to stop corruption. The money that politicians are stealing would have been used to build primary schools in all over the state. So if the president is serious, he should partner with the governors. Hold back the money the savings is getting from the subsidy, and see if they can build primary schools in every village. Why at this age is Nigeria still struggling with primary schools, secondary schools, university? Why? I told people that President Trump and Iran can afford to fight wars because they have no problem. There are no such challenges like primary schools, secondary schools, university, health centers, hospitals. They've considered that. They're talking about AI. So I think if I were to be President Tinubu, I think he needs to sit down with his people. He needs to sit down with his Minister for Education. He needs to sit down with governors. He needs to deal with two issues. First and foremost, he needs to do with primary health care. And primary health care can be built in every state. Then you ask yourself, what are the doctors? You can train doctors. You can ensure that there are college of medicine in which doctors are trained. We may not have enough, but that's the beginning. If you also call the governors together, you can the savings you're having from oil subsidy, you can build primary schools with the governors all over the country. There are so many villages in the north that don't have primary school. People don't go to school, and the president is not worried. What about security?
Your Excellency, just a moment before we come to security. So let's put this out as frontal as possible. So you are saying that you agree with the president on removal of fuel subsidy and removal of subsidy on FX by devaluing the naira. Is that what you're saying emphatically?
No. And for now, I'm talking about removal of oil subsidy. That I agree. What I'm saying is savings should be given back to Nigerians. If that happens, you know why I have always said that there should be removal of oil subsidy? Because Nigerians at least are selling the money in the name of subsidy. So why not we get the money and hand back to Nigerians?
How do you handle? So help us understand. How do you want to hand over the money to the citizens? How do you want to do that?
I don't think hand over cash. I'm just looking here. You can start with primary schools, start with secondary schools, start with universities, start with primary healthcare centers. Let Nigerians have access to these things. You see, it's also about affordability, accessibility, and affordability. In Rivers State, the first thing we did was to build primary schools in literally every village. The next thing we did is to build primary healthcare centers in every village. What did we do again? We employed over 400 doctors to man those health centers. We employed 13,200 teachers to enable those, and that was the beginning, because when we did our assessment, we needed 90,000 teachers in Rivers State.
Your Excellency, without cutting your thought, you've been a governor, and sometimes you've had a running battle with a sitting president that led to your exit from a political party. How much can a president do in influencing subnational? Because you've been a governor, you've given presidents tough time as well. You may have all these lofty ideas. I'm sure the president may have those lofty ideas. But what do you do when the governors are not bulging?
For Christ's sake, that's what's called the Governors Forum. Every president that has called a meeting of the Governors Forum has always had his way. All you need to do is call the Governors Forum to a meeting. These are my expectations. We can't govern this country the way it is being governed currently. So these are my expectations. Can we partner? Can we do this and give them timeline and give yourself timeline to deliver? So the governors are not mad. They are human beings. Unfortunately, the Governors Forum is no longer functioning the way it was functioning when I was governor.
So before I allow my colleague come in, the issue of security, both the Jonathan administration, the Buhari administration, and now the Tinubu administration all have failed to be able to secure Nigeria. And the question those of us who are journalists want to ask for the opposition, like the ADC, and each individual who aspires to have the ticket of the party, what significantly different would you do? I think Elijah Abubakar talked about putting more boots on the ground and all that. For you, what can turn the tide? What will Nigeria hear from you right now? They begin to contemplate. Maybe Rotimi Amaechi may be the right guy to help Nigeria's national insecurity to become a safe country.
You see, the question should have been, what did you do in Rivers State? Have you forgotten what Rivers State was like? The first thing we did is we brought intelligence. We got people, we contracted out intelligence in Rivers State. When those people came, even though I don't support when it comes to Nigeria, we can improve intelligence without contracting it out. So you get the Nigerian, you get the Nigerian police, you get the state security services. Let us improve on our intelligence and training. Intelligence will tell you where these people are, how many weapons they have, when they sleep, when they wake up, when they eat. Then you make sure that our soldiers are properly trained, that can confront these people, and you fund them. You fund the military. You must make sure they have enough equipment and enough money. You must make sure that if any soldier dies, you're able to pick up from where he stopped with his family. They must know that they want to die for the country. That's what we did in Rivers State. We paid every person we lost at the war front. We took over the family. In fact, there was somebody that was shot while flying the helicopter. We flew him out of the country. And we paid the children's school fees. That's what we need to do. We need to encourage the Nigerian military. They have the capacity to be able to do this. Unfortunately, the funds coming from the budget seem not to be either enough or somebody is writing it somewhere. So the president needs to ask those questions. So I agree with the Vice President Atiku when he says put more boots on ground. Yes, but if you put more boots on ground without information, without intelligence, then they may likely not be able to perform. So you need intelligence, you need equipment, you need more boots on ground.
So if the challenge is intelligence, lack of intelligence, and perhaps corruption with the defense budget, and you had the opportunity as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to make decisions on those subjects to solve the challenge of insecurity, within what timeline do you think you'd be able to end, or as much as possible, reduce insecurity in Nigeria by at least 80%? So what timeline should Nigerians give you if you were president?
You know what I'm laughing? Why would you give me a timeline? Why? The reason why I ask that question is I'm not yet president. You have to go there and assess the situation. You have to first assess the situation. You have to sit with the military, because you may be making promises. Oh, 1 year I'll sort it out. You get there, you're overwhelmed. So the first thing is to ask, what is the problem? I already know. So people are being killed. So what is the solution? The military will tell you. They will tell you what are their handicaps. You tell you what to do. Then you ask yourself, priorities. Do I choose security, or do I choose education? Which one comes first and the other? In River State, what did we do?
So these journalists are not asking this man what he did during his time. Was it not during Amaechi's time they kidnapped those people on the train? That one doctor, Chinyelo, I can never forget, that tweeted that she was spying and they were making a mockery of her on Twitter. That was my first appearance on. I mean, I didn't join Twitter then, but at that time you could Google and find out what's going on. Nobody's asking. Look at how he's talking. They just leave and make you they talk, they do. This man is part of the failure now. Anyway, make we shall continue.
The best thing we did in River State is to start education. If we don't sleep well, if we don't sort out this insecurity, we can't go to school. Our children will be able to go to school. Children will not go to school, just like now. Imagine what shutting down the entire schools in Kwara State. Of course I will do that. So what is currently happening there? Let me tell you, I said that at the Naija University. The rich men are sending their children overseas to private institutions. The government are not being offered education. Now, if we need to deal, yesterday I heard about what happened in Kwara. They ransacked about 2-3 villages in Kwara. People are not sleeping. So I can't say in 2 years. No, I will have to find out with my team how to go about it. If I can say in 2 years or in 3 years. But when I say security, it will be the first thing on my agenda.
Well, you've had an aerial view position to assess these things before, being in the former administration, and you've been a governor before. So we're hoping you'll be able to give a timeline. But another critical matter that you may have perhaps spoken to earlier on is, perhaps the monies from subsidy savings not being judiciously expended. We've heard the administration say to us that the governors are getting more allocation. And this government has, in fact, taking the subnationals to court on the matter of local government autonomy. We've heard the president say to the governors, wet the grass more. We've heard him even threaten to issue an executive order should local government autonomy not be implemented in line with the Supreme Court verdict. And we have, in fact, more governors at this point. But what we're hearing is that the Constitution has to be amended for direct payment to be made to local government accounts. As president, what would you do differently to navigate around the politics of the thorough implementation of local government autonomy to ensure that funds get indeed to the grassroots?
Somehow, the governments are not only the problem. The first step, constitutional amendment. When I got the judgment, I said, well, the wise men in the Supreme Court can never be wrong. But we all know as lawyers that the right thing would have been to amend the Constitution, because the Constitution is very clear. There must be a chart. There must be a joint meeting between the state governors and the local government to be able, and the federal government to be able to discharge that responsibility of getting the money to the local government. So you need to amend the Constitution to enable the local government to have access to these funds. Now, you need to also make sure that these funds are judiciously applied, because they're not currently being judiciously applied. Whether you like, what you have done by that judgment is to transfer from one I'm being careful not to use the wrong word, but the government will be happy to be here as a government. But from one misapplication of funds to another misapplication of funds in the local government. Now, what you need to do is, after the amendment of the Constitution, and then the funds are given straight to the local government chairman, you must ensure that they are punished because they don't have immunity. You can't say, oh, I can't arrest the local government chairman because he has immunity. The government has immunity, but the local government chairman doesn't have immunity. So if they know that there are consequences for the poor application of those funds, then they will go to jail. If they know they will go to jail, then the funds will be properly applied. So those rural things, like I've just told you, primary schools is the responsibility of the local government. They neither build one, nor do they innovate any. So primary healthcare center is also the responsibility of the local government chairman. But they also abandon that responsibility. When I was governor, I took those responsibilities from them by reaching an agreement with them to allow me to take that responsibility. And I discharged that responsibility by building in every village we have a university, a primary school, and a primary healthcare center, and I employ doctors and teachers. So to do that, you should first amend the Constitution. When you amend the Constitution, then and they now have direct access to the money, then the governors cannot interfere. But the governors must look at what they are doing so that they are punishing, they don't apply the money.
So, and that leads me to the next question. So, as governor, did you allow local government funds get to the local government as governor, or did you superintend over those funds? So do you stand in a position where you can say that you have the moral right to either criticize a local government, governors rather, or to say that you would amend the constitution if local governments didn't thrive under your watch?
From the beginning of the day I became the governor of Rivers State to the day I left, I never saw a local government chairman over the issue of money. Never knew how the money was. Never talked to them about their money. Never touched the money. I told them, I said, do a referendum of all the aspirants and candidates. Do a referendum. They will tell the university, all even those who hate me, will tell you that money is not my problem. I don't talk to people about money. I never talk to any governor, any local government chairman. I can give you their names. You call them. I'll give you their phone number. You call them and ask them if any day they met with me, sent me a gift, or called me one day, or I sat with them in a meeting and directed them use the money for this purpose. No, I don't do that. That's not been giving them their independence or autonomy. I did the same with judiciary. You can ask the chief judge. Never call him one day. Whatever he puts in the budget, he got the money up front. Because I believe, as a former speaker, that I should play by the rule of law. That is the first thing we need to do. There has to be rule of law and order. Currently, we don't have that. The judiciary needs independence, complete funding, complete independence. The government does not have to interfere. The local government needs complete autonomy. The governor does not need to interfere just with the same as the president. And I did that as governor of Rivers State. And I still would say, let us have a listen back to all the candidates and aspirants and see who fare better.
Well, you left the PDP pre-2015, and it's got the PDP as the problem. Then you moved to the APC. Then you've left the APC again to the ADC. What do you say to people who say, well, it doesn't look like you're fighting for Nigerians. They see you as a serial disruptor who falls out of favor when you're either no more holding the aces as a minister or having a key part in the government, or in the event that you lost a primary?
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is base 40.
Look, again, funny question. So I left the country knew what happened. I was literally chased out of PDP. You want me to remind you that I was chased out of PDP?
Who chased you out?
The president.
How did he chase you out?
President.
How did he chase you out? That's President Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes, with his wife. They took over the political structure in Rivers State and chased me out. The same with APC.
Was that President Tinubu that chased you out of the APC?
Hold on, sir. I will never keep quiet in the face of injustice. So when I do that, they begin to plan to make me irrelevant. So that happened in PDP. The President Goodluck and his wife chased me out and handed over the structure to other people. So I moved with all of us who were governors, and my offense was because I was chairman of governors forum. Okay, come to APC. We contested, the same happened. I was chased out of APC. Then I went to ADC. But that's not even the issue. So let's look at, forget who chased who and who didn't chase who. I don't also agree with the policies some of them are pursuing. I've sat down with President Goodluck Jonathan several times on the issue of my disagreement and what the policies are. The first day they said President Tinubu won primaries, I told him I don't agree with him. What don't I agree with him? There is a balance in society. The balance is that you must protect all religious interests, all ethnic interests, and I don't see the way the president governed Lagos that he has the capacity to govern Nigeria. And I'm not proving wrong. I would not be president and everybody will come from the south. I would not be president and all of my friends will be ministers. No. Nigeria is complex and it's huge. All interests must come to play. Businessmen's interests, you must protect their interests. You must assist them to grow their business. You must run the economy in such a way that everybody can have a say. Everybody can have his investment group. You must also allow the Hausa Fulani man to know that he's in Nigeria. You must allow the Igbo man to know that the Igbo man must be proud to be called in Nigeria. If we continue what we're doing currently, the Igbos will not be happy. They will continue to say they want to leave. So every interest must be represented. When I see this injustice and I speak out, they come after me.
Right. So I want us to speak to a key part of your time in government. The coalition has time and again faulted the president's handling of the economy, particularly the debt. And for someone who, during your tenure, oversaw the loans that were gotten to build infrastructure, do you also blame this government for getting loans in that sense? And perhaps you can put a figure to the loans that were secured during your time for either the rail infrastructure and the rest.
You know, the problem you have is what I call investigative journalism. But before you ask this question, you should have investigated. Now, the only loan we got in Ministry of Transport for railway, $1.6 billion. $1.6 billion. You know, when we get to cabinet and we get approval to award contracts and we say we'll apply for loan, everybody calculates it. If you compute those loans we wanted to apply for, it was the amount of nearly $36 billion. We did not apply for those loans. Even if we did not get those loans. We got only $1.6 billion from China.
So what
But when you
exactly
hear
because my question is, when the coalition speaks to the government's handling of loans or collection of loans, you also collected loans. So I'm asking you that you fault this government for collecting loans. This is not a matter of investigation.
You didn't get my answer. Nothing wrong with loans. Get it right. The magnitude of the loans they are currently collecting is frightening. Completely frightening. Secondly, the application of those loans, they should show us what they've done. Since I left Ministry of Transport, there's no railway commissioning. As Minister for Transport, we commissioned more than two railway lines. We commissioned the Lagos Ibadan. We commissioned Kano Kaduna. The President commissioned the FCT internal rail line. We launched Kano. We launched Kano Kaduna Kano. We launched it. We commissioned Itakewari that goes to South. So let President Tinubu tell us what. In fact, they tried to commission the project that I started the Port Harcourt Aba rail line, which they completed the track. But to build ordinary station in Port Harcourt and Aba, they abandoned it. Most people don't know that I started Port Harcourt Aba and it's completed. Why it's not being seen is because they refuse to build the train station in Port Harcourt and the train station in Aba. So sometimes when my friends from the Southeast ask me what rail line did you build in the Southeast, they don't know that I commenced the Port Harcourt Maiduguri because I'm from River State and we have completed the Port Harcourt Aba is completed and running. And but I hear that it's abandoned. So when you take loan, Nigerians must see what the loan is used for. Currently, they should tell us what they use the money for. I want to see.
We're totally out of time. Yes, you're totally out of time. Let me just ask you a political question before we wrap up. And you've been speaker for 8 years, governor for 8 years, minister for 8 years. So you know that when it comes to politics, it's about numbers. Sometimes it's not about who is the best. It's about who can win. So I'm asking about viability criteria. Elijah Atiku is coming with 6.9. Peter Obi is coming with 6.1 based on the last election. Robbie is coming with 1-point-something million. You had talked about the fact that your structure was taken over from you in the River State, so you haven't been able to produce a governor. Like governors like to produce successors in that sense. And you see what is playing out in River State as we speak. So in terms of viability, not necessarily who is more competent, viability for numbers, do you think you can match the other guys in your team?
It's the questions you ask that make me give answers that look as if I'm not in tune with my colleagues in the ADC. Let's take a question. I ran in APC and I was second without anybody's support, and I was second. So I wasn't on the ballot. Okay, so President Vice President came with 6-point-something. My friend and colleague Peter Obi came with 6-point-something million votes and all that. Fine, good question. But we are registering now in ADC. Why haven't that 6-point-something million registered with ADC? Why are we struggling? Why do we have 3 million? See, the factors are different. Nigerians are hungry. They are looking for someone who can find solution to their problem. That's why I said that it's about viability and capacity. I said so in the ADC convention, and that I am the most viable to contest that election because Nigerians are looking for the following factors: who can bring food on our table, who can change the issue of security. I have run River State and I've shown that I can fight insecurity. Who again can represent us well? And I've shown here. Of all of us running, I'm 60. Whether you like it or not, I'm 60. Unfortunately, I'm 60. Whether fortunately or unfortunately, I'm 60. So it is not about this person. If I was on the ballot, I would have had more than 6.something million votes because of my acceptability. So you can't answer that question.
Really,
because I was on the ballot. But you see, it's the question you ask that make me in answering that question. I mean, it looks as if I may have to correct you when you talk about.
But these men, pardon me, but these men have been tested. They've gotten their 6 million votes. What are you planning to bring to the table? They've brought 6.9, 6.1. Can you do better than them? Just in 5 seconds.
Stop paying those greedy telecom giants outrageous monthly bills. The era of being ripped off by monopolies.
Okay, you were causing the problem by asking those questions. That's why I have always refused to be interviewed. So this one, the party forced me to allow you to interview before I wouldn't have interviewed. Okay, so let's look at all the posts you have mentioned. But no, they've not been able to defeat Tinubu. Only somebody who knows how to defeat Tinubu should be able to run against Tinubu.
Oh, really?
Do you agree?
Okay, Your Excellency, it's not about agreeing or not agreeing, but it's just a question. Perhaps you know what they don't know. So maybe that's your advantage because you led the campaign for Buhari and you played a key role.
I led it twice, and I delivered 50 million votes.
So you're coming in 50 million votes indirectly. Well, we wish your party well because Nigerians are worried about whether the ego battle will make or mar the coalition. Rotimi Amaechi, former governor of River State.
No, get it right. There is no ego battle. I've told you here. Governor Peter Obi is qualified. Hold on, I know that. Governor Peter Obi is eminently qualified to govern this country. He is. If he wins primary, I will be at the forefront. I will want to even be ditched You are the first one of those who campaign for him. If Vice President Atiku wins the primary, he's also eminently qualified to govern this country. He's very experienced. Age comes with experience, I will also be at the forefront of those who campaign for him. Of course I will be. But if Vice President Atiku was the presidential candidate last time, he will not do a Muslim ticket.
All right.
But
We're totally out of time, Your Excellency. We're totally out of time. It's an ongoing conversation. You've made your commitment, so we put you on record. Apparently, you want this to go to the primary. But thank you.
Anybody who wins the primary, I'll be at the forefront.
Thank you, sir. Rotimi Amaechi, former governor of Rivers State.
I beg you, c'est l'eau de toi. Anyway, we are respecting everybody because they are all inside the ADC. Mona, not let me talk. May they first give ticket first, then we will know as we want to do this thing because I don't understand. They ask you, out of all the Peter Obi give interview, did not hear him throw anybody under the bus. He not talk any ugly thing about other people. Very, very professional. He was very measured with his responses. Even looking at, if I want to compare now, say, okay, I'm just coming into the Nigerian political scene. I want to decide who I want to vote for. From the interview alone, Peter Obi stands out. From the interview alone, Peter Obi stands out. You see a man, as you're watching the interview, you're seeing a man with empathy. You're seeing a man who wants to lead correctly. You're seeing a man with principles. His character is coming through from the screen. Baba went there. Baba went and threw everybody and the baby under the trailer. You now, you come. They not even ask you. This is the problem I have with the journalists. Nobody even pushed back. Nobody asked you about the train incident. Some of the things that you promised you were going to do that you did not do. Your position, how well nobody, they ask those questions. I beg you, look with the look. Oriyomi, welcome. It's true. That's true. A person when they genuine, you can smell Peter Obi's genuinity from a mile away. He don't show us say care about us. Now who care about us? Now we they follow. It be like a woman when if you will talk to a woman, unless na woman when just like abuse for a life. Now the way who care for and pass now go follow. Now who they more gentle with that pass he go follow. You want me to abandon a man that I will have peace of mind with. I will sleep with both eyes closed and go and choose a ragamuffin that I go to do watch night. Every time I go open one eye, sleep with one eye, I will not get my complete 8 hours. When they come, my heart go, they do bim, 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 bim. And that one will go. Anyway, Nigerians don't open eye. Twitter no full. Everywhere scatter. Everywhere it's scattered. Everybody is talking about registering. They are doing come register with me. Just like get ready with me video, they now have come register with me video. It's all over my Twitter page. Everybody. In fact, people are organizing dates. Let's go on a date. Come register with me. INEC office. Location. I'm telling you, it's been overwhelming just seeing the number of young people. There's a location I saw. If you see the line of young people voting, also if you people coming from school, after school they go INEC office, go register. The joy that is giving me alone. Nigerians are waking up. I'm very happy. Nigerians have become now politically aware. You see some people tweet, blue dress or black dress, which one looks better? Somebody will respond, kicking Tinubu acts looks better. This car or that car, which one do you prefer? They will respond, the car that will drive Tinubu away, far away from Aso Rock. Oh my God. Guys, I beg una, welcome. If you are just joining me, welcome. I appreciate you. Let's continue. I have, now, Twitter get down. So let's start with.
Can you see and hear finish from Mr. President? He said during the primaries it was tough, but he won. And during election that brought him in, it was tough that he won, that he's now president, that nobody will take him out. Hey, your president.
During the primary that brought me there, it was tough. During the general election, it was tough. Now that
No be see finish with that. They don't see us finish. He's so confident because they know that INEC is their own. They know that judiciary is no more hope. They are so sure of themselves. But you and I, we can still wake up and change our story. God bless you.
He's not backing down. He's doubling down. Now, let nobody come and argue. All these Emilokon people that try to separate Buhari from Tinubu, I hope they listen to the entire interview. The man say he and Tinubu, they are one. Okay? He and Tinubu, they are one. So that means he was aware of the people that went to buy NSAS protesters. So he's aware of the motive behind Buhari's presidency. So he's aware. So you guys don't have any defense anymore. So you cannot come now and say Tinubu is different, because people were trying to separate him. He has told you people now. Okay? So you guys coming out, you look like fools defending him. Anyway, you people are fools anyway. So there's no difference.
Amuse me, reach Rotimi Amaechi and the followers. You see, nobody don't make. I they see those people, they laugh. Rotimi Amaechi, I have no problem with him. It's part of the coalition, and we must all come together. Every house get backyard, get toilets, get city room, get lounge, get communal area, get kitchen, all of that. So everybody is needed to make this work. But you see, the delusion where una take the run that una raise, una calm down. Because I dey see comment wey be like say nobody has the experience, Rotimi experience. If we use Rotimi Amaechi experience, it no go work. We will just look at like saying a fresh new creation. We just realize a mistake of yesterday. Because we can't be talking about this, and I'm just not just here to drag, because if I say, because you know why I'm doing this, so I'm doing this video not to drag Rotimi as a person, but to help a cause. Because after looking back at 2023 election in hindsight, I can tell you that one of the problems Atiku had was people that pushed him. All these Dele Momodu, the Dino Melaye, when they say go for it, they know they call out to other. Then when they now saw Kowa's money, he just finished. He don't finish. All Atiku needs to do is to take over primaries. They look for somebody who is going to bring. The last time Atiku will use the money for election, it will be maybe in 2019. And even then, PDP was the biggest party. And purposely they're not the power for 4 years. So the PDP will show that responsibility. Right? In 2023, Okowa money that come to place. And now, it be like saying Amaechi money they want to use. Instead of Amaechi to calm down. Now Amaechi, now he followers. If anybody, I can even respect Atiku based on antecedent, based on crowd, based on capital vote day, no matter how it be, as ill-timed as Atiku's journey into the ballot in 2023, he still secure 6 million votes. Ill-timed, I say it. He not supposed to that ballot, but he still hold 6 million. I don't know what Amaechi define. And if you check pecking order, now because Peter Obi say don't big pass will be VP, that's why you see say Amaechi even did the scheme of things. Because all this when I talk, chat. Now voice a loud pass. We go they discuss national issues. Amaechi and the followers go they flood everywhere, they disturb me. Now one of them never get mad, they call me for phone, they say, no, Atiku and Amaechi has a which experience, excuse me, young man. SP waiting. Make Amaechi calm down. Make Amaechi calm down. If Peter Obi had accepted, in the pecking order, Amaechi wasn't even top 4. Peter Obi refused. Say Donald Duke even accept. I him down, play, say don't go APC, as it were. So Amaechi na second thoughts. Say why you were, I will do and make come. Not be say when I come, they be like say they think on the shakuna. As I talk to you now, let's be realistic. an Atiku and Rotimi ticket, we not fly in Nigeria today. Except say Kwankwasiyya, El-Rufai, Tambuwa, Peter Obi come accept to say they want swallow and say, okay, may they let them go. That is the only way that ticket can produce vote. Anything will make Peter Obi and Kwankwasiyya dey ballot and Atiku and Amaechi force their way, see them must dey ballot. It don't finish. And it will be a dishonor for Atiku to do his final election and be like say he come out, he go carry distant third. Because that's what Tinubu tried to do, to disrespect Peter Obi. That's why they rig out to third. You know, every rig out to second, all of the vote on a court and carry and go third, so that in case go dey water, so you go dampen the spirit. But everybody know, even your people know, say, and now what I'm realizing is that guess who are the people campaigning or speaking the news? Go check comment section. APC people, anybody but Obi, they will support Sowore in the morning, support Amaechi in the afternoon, support Atiku in the evening, support what they call the guy Bala Gombe, your fortunate moron we say na be deputy national chairman of ADC where they say they give a party structure. That is anybody, anything against Peter Obi na dey. Anybody. Now so that they put Lamidi Papa for head at a time. So now that won't be my problem. If everybody they talk, though where when the Mosekian let the body right now Amaechi be. Look for a do person me interpreter. When the Mosekian let the body right. They just they pursue five people. Pick say they almost catch me. They almost come over road. They pursue you. Come over there. Amaechi, get out of this place. No, they talk better till let's discuss national politics. And Amaechi go see they bring here come and say, if not be coalition, we gather they say more really ignore. But na rebe Sara Rotier. Amaechi, I feel go let Tinubu pass Amaechi. Oh, may Amaechi calm down. I swear to God, I feel we go value Tinubu pass Amaechi. Who be Amaechi? Can Amaechi destroy the system? Not be Amaechi where we can put for pocket for Rivers State. After being speaker for years, do governor. See the way Rivers State be. All the talk system. For don't years say Fubara dey your camp, you get what you use and they do all of this. When you know in the APC, when Fubara was collecting all of those things, you know, go hold the guy, support and letter. You look. I beg. Man, you are too finitestimate, man. See, Amaechi's book, I want to read them so that how not to be an Amaechi in Nigerian politics. There you go, sleep.
Hey, Oga top, your mama, that wild animal, your mama, your grandmama, your generation where you come from, and the ones when you go born, if you are lucky enough to have children in this life, all from wild animals. Bastard child of a bastard mother. Anyway, moving along. Since Tinubu knew, because Tinubu talk about Ajaokuta still, he said Ajaokuta still was dead, right? He said, since Tinubu knew that Ajaokuta still was dead and not working, why has he continued to allocate billions of naira to it? 2024, he allocate 5.1 billion. 2025, he allocates 6.2 billion. 2026, he allocates 6.6 billion. Strikingly, over 80% of the funds went towards staff payments. Who are the staff working at Ajaokuta Steel that Tinubu's government has been paying billions to? Mona Emi asks Bala Blue. Is it not grand criminality to splash billions of taxpayers' money on a moribund infrastructure that yields zero value to the country? Anyway, let me not make our brain no hot us this afternoon. Hey, I hear say there's a new strand of malaria. They say it's COVID. Some people are saying COVID in Nigeria. Oh. If you get family for Nigeria, I'm gonna go tell them. Oh. And it's spying a lot of people, right? They are saying that so many young people in Nigeria have passed this one year. They don't buy from that sickness, from the strange malaria. Somebody is saying that it's COVID that is back, but you know, healthcare not in Nigeria, so we will never know. Moving along.
This is an open letter to His Excellency Alhaji Atiku. Dear sir, I hope you get to see this video, and I hope anybody that sees this video, please, you can help me tag him, push it to him, send it to his sons. Atiku needs to see this video. So a time comes in a man's life where all you'll be asking, all you'll be looking up towards is legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be known for? When you're gone, how do you want the world to remember what the impact you made in life? At the prime age of 79, a blessed age, an age that everybody will want to get to, I think is a time where I believe you're living for right now, for probably a legacy. Probably that's why you really want to run for presidency, probably to fulfill your lifelong ambition, your lifelong dream of being a president, which is valid. I will never be among the people that want to knock down your ambition and say, oh, you've been contesting. It actually shows a man that has a dream and wants to fulfill that dream, which is a very valid dream. In fact, in a world whereby we see people give up so easily, young people are committing, unaliving themselves because they could not meet a set target. Young people give up from different career paths because they could not meet a set target. You have been consistent from 1993 up until date, seeking for an elusive position to be the president of Nigeria. Many people might talk about what you embody, what have been said about you, what have been rumored about you. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the present and the future, which you, whether we like it or not, hold a delicate part or we play a delicate role in the advancement of our country, Nigeria. And so I just want to remind you of probably what you're not seeing, or probably what nobody has seen about you as a person. And history and patterns will back up what I'm about to say right now. In 1993, you wanted to become the president of Nigeria, and something happened. Probably you did not meet up to the standards, or you did not reach up to the voting standards, but you did something. You stepped down and allowed M. Abiola become the candidate that led to SDP winning the elections. In 1999, you came back. You won the gubernatorial elections in your state. You stepped down and helped Olusegun Obasanjo achieve his aim to become the president of Nigeria in 1999. And you ran that government with him. You played a vital role also in making sure that Obasanjo's third-term bid or Obasanjo's third-term ambition never came to pass. Many people that know what happened within that period can understand that probably was the beginning of your media witch hunt. But you played a vital role. You tried contesting in 2007, it did not work out. You tried in 2011, you stepped down for Jonathan to continue. In 2015, you wanted to contest again as president, but circumstances happened and a Buhari emerged, and you also stepped down. I'm showing a pattern of a man that have sacrificed for other people because he understood at that point in time, it was not going to be him. And if you're not paying attention, if you don't understand what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to paint a picture for you to understand that probably in your destiny in life, you were never meant to be the king, but to be a king's maker. And history beckons again. In 2023, you said no, you had to contest. Even when it was obviously that power had to rotate from the north to the south. But you felt that you have stepped down consistently. As I've listed, you wanted to go for a shot. Also, knowing the fact that age was no longer on your side, you had to. And you threw yourself into the ring. And the rest is history. 2027 beckons, and you want to step up again at the prime age of 79. An age whereby many people will be expecting that you should just be a real elder statesman, trying to do all you can to make sure that this government that you helped brought to power, the APC government, you do everything to take them out. You still want to contest, which is within your right, and I respect that. But I want to ask you, sir, what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered as the man that always tried and never reached or achieved his potential, or a man that created a pathway that turned others to become kings? In my opinion, that is a history that the world will always remember. Nigerians will never forget. I will not be among the people that will come and bully you and tell you that, oh, if you don't step down, let everything scatter. No, Nigeria is more delicate and more important to me than how I feel or my emotions. But and I understand also that you have a delicate role to play in Nigeria fulfilling his ambitions. Never in the history of our country have we witnessed a more brutish, a more useless, a more dictatorial kind of governance like the Tinubu administration. Nigeria is passing through the worst time ever in its history. And to stop this government is a task that every hand must be on deck. And you have a vital role to play, sir. But it must not be a role that must be played with you at the top of the ticket. The yearnings of the Nigerian people do not yearn Atiku. This is the truth. People around you will not tell you this. The yearnings of the Nigerian people yearn for a name that is not Atiku. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person or a bad candidate. But the job at stake, the job at hand requires someone that is hands-on, not a job of delegation. So I ask you this question from the depth of my heart. Can you be in 4 states in a day in Nigeria? Do you have the power to be in 4 states, be in Adamawa in the morning, be in Enugu by noon, be in Bayelsa by midday, and back to Lagos in the night? Can you do this? Will your body take it consecutively for the next 4 years? That lies the answer to whether you should be at the top of the ticket. Your interview showed that you said, I watched briefly your interview, when you said that you represent the past and the future. And I understand, because truly you represent the past, but also you represent the future because you can actually usher Nigeria into a new dispensation, a dispensation of the people-backed government, that you can lead the coalition, but not necessarily being the presidential candidate. History will remember you forever as the man that sacrificed the most, because as I've stated, you sacrificed for MKO, you sacrificed for Obasanjo, you sacrificed for Yar'Adua, you sacrificed for Jonathan, you sacrificed for Buhari. You can also sacrifice for the man that you brought to national limelight. You're the one that made so many people know Mr. Peter Obi by making me your VP in 2019. If you had made him your VP in 2019, it means that you believe that he can be the president of the country. Nigeria yearns for that man today. It will take you nothing, sir, to form a coalition government, but not necessarily with you at the very top of the ticket. The youths do not yearn for Atiku now. Not because of any of the primordial sentiments they want to call or say, I will not list any of them, but because there is a time for everything. And honestly speaking, sir, this is not the time for Atiku. You might say that you're more popular, as you stated that you're the most popular candidate in the north. It doesn't necessarily translate that you're the most popular candidate in Nigeria. And if the last election is anything to go by, it shows that there's one man that can actually galvanize Nigerian youths, that can actually galvanize the Nigerian people from the north to the south, to the east and the west. And with your backing, you're going to make history as that kingmaker that actually paid the supreme price for Nigeria to reach his goal. And your name will be etched in gold forever. That, for me, is a greater legacy than anything you think you can do in Aso Rock. I hope you get this message, sir. And I hope you don't hear the noise of the people that will come out or call you names or say things about you or will trigger you or say anything. No, this is deeply from a Nigerian that respects you and understand that to take Tinubu out of power is not a job that can be done with a one-man army. And that's exactly why you guys are in the coalition in the first place. Please, sir, let the product of this coalition be one that history will remember that you played a vital role, not necessarily at the top of the ticket. Thank you.
Oh. So we go see whether he go listen. React. No, this is not the one I want. So Tinubu, of course, as you guys all know, he says if he's elected in 2027, he will continue his harsh economic policies, winner take all politics. The man is shaking, no. Have you ever, for Tinubu to come out and be bragging, he's rattled. He's rattled. Now fear, part of fear, now him make am. How many times Tinubu they come out to talk? With all the unalivings going happen for Nigeria, with all the mayhem that's going on, Tinubu does not come out. But this Obi-Kwankwaso ticket is rattling the man. That's why he came out to say he's one with Buhari, because he's trying to play to the North again, but North don't figure Tinubu out. They are crying all over Twitter that Tinubu disappointed them or Tinubu tricks them, whatever. I've been all their lives. Sometimes I go enter inside, listen to what they talk. They have been crying all over the place. So anyway, let's move forward.
Language generally is not neutral, and political language is never neutral. It does not only tell us what leaders think, it reveals how they think. And sometimes political competition, a single sentence can expose an entire strategy. That is what happened when Vice President Atiku Abubakar granted an interview on Arise TV. What emerged was something deeper, a glimpse into the logic of power, coalition politics and control, and what the ambition of Vice President Atiku Abubakar will actually mean for the people who are supporting him. My name is Rumande Shawulu. This is The Other Side. At the center of Nigeria's unfolding 2027 political drama is a familiar figure, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president for 8 years under the leadership of President Olusegun Obasanjo. In that interview with Arise Television, he made a defining statement. 2027 will be his final attempt at the presidency.
Certainly yes, because the stakes are higher, because I believe that will be my last outing. And
so that's incontrovertible.
That's incontrovertible.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, himself and former president, the late Muhammadu Buhari, have contested the most times to become president of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari achieved his ambition. Whether Atiku will achieve his ambition this time too is not yet known. This is not just a declaration. It is a political instrument, a way to frame his candidature as urgent, historic, and irreplaceable. But in politics, finality cuts both ways. It can inspire loyalty, or it can trigger quiet calculations about what comes next. It can inspire people to follow, and it can inspire people to move away because they know that you are not going to be long and they may need someone or others who will stay longer in the field to protect or be a ladder for people who have aspirations to move up. Atiku is no longer running a traditional campaign. He's attempting to lead a grand coalition under the platform of the African Democratic Congress, a coalition designed to unify discontent within APC, fragmentation within the PDP, and energy from the Labour Party. It is, in theory, a political alignment, but coalitions are not built on theory, they are built on trust. And trust is not declared, it is managed. And trust is built, it doesn't just come naturally. Atiku's critique of Bola Ahmed Tinubu were direct and uncompromising. He called it the worst administration he has ever seen. This is strategic because he's not just criticizing policy, he's reframing the election itself from the context of a candidate to a referendum on suffering, economic strain, security breakdown, and public frustration. But there is a fundamental question here. Will anger translate into alignment, or will frustration remain fragmented? History shows that economic problems do not always translate to public protests against existing government. Sometimes can lead to apathy on election day, people being so frustrated they refuse to come out to vote.
Bola has been a very bad president, to be honest with you.
How so?
I mean, because I didn't expect that from him, you know, in the way he governs the country, whether economically or otherwise, is a disappointment.
Atiku went further to say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be dead on arrival in 2027 against a coalition. That is, if there's a coalition. That is, if the statements he made will not break the coalition. This is not just confidence. It is it is narrative construction, an attempt to create a sense of inevitability.
So for all what I know is that a coalition candidate facing Bola Tinubu is dead on arrival.
But Nigerians' elections, as elections in other parts of the world, are not decided by rhetoric alone. They are shaped by institutional leverage, political networks, and strategic coordination. Of course, the responses against him came very quickly. Daniel Bola, Nigerians that Atiku was defeated in 2023. So the question becomes, is this confidence grounded in structure or just projection, just bravado? But the most consequential moment of the interview was not about Tinubu. It was about the coalition. Atiku asserted that no northern politician commands his level of support, not Rabiu Obi-Kwankwaso, Aminu Tambuwal, or Nasir El-Rufai. And this is where politics becomes very delicate, because there is also a communication problem. Politics is not a seminar. Politics is not an academic debate where your views may be more profound than another person's view. Not every thought should be spoken exactly as it's formed in our mind. Not in politics, especially not in public, because every statement in a coalition environment does one of two things. It either builds trust or it erodes it. When, therefore, allies hear themselves described as limited or secondary, they receive a message. Resentment is built in their minds, and they may begin to wonder whether it is worth being with or supporting someone who looks down at them, that their value is conditional, that their relevance can be publicly ranked. And that is how coalitions begin to fracture, not from opposition attacks, but from internal signals that members of the coalition are not of equal relevance. There's even a deeper problem and implication of the interview. When political leaders reduce politics to personality contests, they reinforce a dangerous culture, a culture where leadership is not about ideas, not about policy, not about governance, but about who is more popular. And when that happens, institutions disappear from the conversation, substance disappears, and politics becomes performance. This is the silent risk inside that interview, not just what he said, but what he encourages, that the contest in 2027 is about himself. And people will begin to wonder, if it is about himself, what is the difference between him and Emeloko? The song that President Bola Ahmed sang in 2023 when he said it was his turn, Emeloko.
I mean, you are talking of figures like Tambuwal, you are talking like figures like Kwankwasiyya and others, and El-Rufai, and also the emerging political, figures. None of them has got that northern bloc vote as much as I have got.
But they also, people like Kwankwasiyya have the northern strategic vote, don't they?
Kano.
Yes, that's strategic.
Yeah. We concede that to him.
Right.
Yeah. That's why he's a leader in the coalition.
But you don't think that the absence of such a vote would affect you fundamentally?
But, the absence of it may affect, but even his own case, you can see how Kano is now split between himself and his former governor. So there is even a split in that.
Atiku proposed a consensus model for selecting a candidate. Very important, because a contested primaries will result in fragmentation of the party. Most likely, not primaries, good. No contest, good. Just agreement among political elites. But he avoided one critical question. Will he step aside if he's not the one that is chosen? And in coalition politics, that question is everything. Will he support another person if he is not the one that is chosen? Because unity is easy to declare, but very difficult to negotiate. Vice President Atiku subtly positioned himself as the candidate of experience, referencing Goodluck Jonathan as decent but inexperienced. But wait a minute, in what way is Vice President Atiku Abubakar more experienced than President Goodluck Jonathan?
For instance, let's take the era of after Umaru Yar'Adua, who started very well and was succeeded by Jonathan Goodluck. I know Jonathan Goodluck very well, a decent young man, but also inexperienced. That I believe attributed, to his failure to manage affairs of the country, particularly when he was faced with challenges. So these are the type of things.
If we take a look at their CVs and their role in public life, yes, Vice President Atiku Abubakar may have started earlier, may be older, but his experience do not match those of President Goodluck Jonathan. And this statement, again, is likely going to offend many people who come from where President Goodluck Jonathan comes from. Let's take a look at it. Vice President Atiku Abubakar worked all of his life in the custom. After he left, he became a businessman, contested for elections in 1990 for governor, which did not work. Contested again in 1999 for governor, won the governorship election, and chose to become vice president. And so the only experience that he can talk about are his experience in the custom and the office of the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. How about President Goodluck Jonathan, on the other hand? He worked in the development world. Yes, he worked in the local government. He was deputy governor, became governor, he was vice president, and became president. So how can Vice President Atiku Abubakar claim to have more experience than President Goodluck Jonathan? Of course, this statement is not likely to go down well with some members of the coalition who will be thinking that the vice president is demeaning their hero at the time that he needs their support to become president. And some of these people will recall too that had Vice President Atiku Abubakar agreed to soft pedal on his campaign in 2011 and 2013, 14, and 15 against President Goodluck Jonathan, he will probably have been president in 2019 and will be rounding off his presidency now. But because he looked down on President Goodluck Jonathan and argued that it was a turn of the knot, then he lost out to President Muhammadu Buhari, with whom they created the APC that is now in power. Of course, it is instructive to also note that in listing the people that he thinks are his rivals, Vice President Atiku left out all candidates from the south of Nigeria at the time that a large segment of people from both north and south are saying that the presidency should remain in the south. So what really did this interview achieve for the vice president? What does it really reveal? Not just ambition, not just strategy, but tension. Atiku has declared his final battle. He helped to build a coalition, and the coalition may be broken if it is seen as a coalition that was built as a special purpose vehicle for his ambition. He wants to assert dominance, but in doing so, he has exposed the central dilemma of the 2027 election. Can a coalition built on ambition survive the weight of competing egos? Or would the struggle of leadership destroy it before it begins? Because in politics all over the world and all through history, including Nigeria's history, the greatest threat to victory is not always your opponent. Sometimes it is your allies, the people you are relying on. As is famously known, PDP was defeated in 2015, not by the APC, but by people within the PDP who had sympathies for the APC. This is the other side. My name is Rumande Shawulu.
I thought I'd bring that here. This is an African who gave a breakdown of what he thought about Atiku's interview. I personally enjoyed listening to him. Hopefully you guys too enjoyed listening to him. Mona no say everybody for the whole of Africa, they watch you now. They watch how una go take move, because Nigeria, everybody's worried about Nigeria right now. Everybody's concerned. Even Ghana is concerned. Ghana, they fear, because he say if anything happen to Nigeria, wahala go dey. Their small country will be stretched. So everybody see the president of Ghana, they say silent prayers. Anyway. Yeah, he's rattled. Absolutely. Anyway, let's move on really quickly. I run through this thing so that.
So sad. I'm so sad about what's happening around. I'm so sad. I'm so sad about what's happening around. Where is the people of like Wole Soyinka? I want to back in corner, Save Nigerian Group. I want to protest against good luck. I want to protest Lojota. That's one fee. Small changes. See owó epo. Epo wa di 1,000. Hello, more than 1,320. But the full Benz meaning 137,000. Mọ́tò yìí. So àwọn Túndé Bákàrè ò sí láyé mọ́ àwọn Wọlé Ṣóyínká. Now, gbogbo àwọn tán lé good luck lọ, they are alive today. They are dumb and deaf and dumb. So ta ló máa jà fún mẹ̀kúnnù mọ́? Ẹni tí àdìbò fún gan, ó ń lo DSS, ó ń lo security, ó ń lo oríṣiríṣi. And I'm very sure Abacha, when Abacha was alive, àwọn Nadeko, àwọn náà ń pariwo Abacha ò ṣe dáadáa. Àṣé nígbà táwọn bá wá débẹ̀, they will even be worse off than Abacha. Who will fight for the masses? It's so sad. But will there be an end to Nigerian problem? That I need àwọn olórí wa tán ṣe tán rí ṣe. Sulaiman, a máa lọ Kútọ̀nù, a lọ rẹ́ǹtì èèyàn tó máa govern Nigeria. Àbá máa lọ Togo, Barrister ti sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ náà. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè ṣe Nàìjíríà. Bàbá ìgan fail. Sọ́dọ̀ àwọn kẹrin.
What kind of life are we? This is what somebody is carrying to hit somebody on the street.
Can you imagine that? Look at that thing that they're using to hit people on the street. Metal. If they use that thing hit person, na be that now. Road safety. Anyway.
Whereas President Goodluck Jonathan was allegedly weak and incompetent, but his beatified legacy is anchored on his famous refrain, "My ambition is not worth the blood, Nigerian," end of quote. By this simple utterance of Goodluck Jonathan, and also for voluntarily relinquishing power, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan earned his seat in the pantheon of decent and honorable leaders of the world. Can same be said of Yoruba's new idol, who before the glare of the world is destroying every sacred institution that underpins a society that is governed by laws and justice. A man with such debauched vainglory, who requires a symphony of sycophants to titillate his oversized ego and self-worth with a useless chorus of mendacious inanity. What else, besides the branded cap and arrant buffoonery in government, what else do we have that we can recommend to future generations? For 3 years now, no dent recorded, not even a pretense to solving the following existential crisis bedeviling this country: out-of-school children, maternal and infant mortalities, chronic hunger and misery, electricity failure, rampant poverty, unemployment, and insecurity. Nothing has been done on any of this beyond showboating. Let me be upfront with every Yorubas, wherever you are on this earth. If you are among those cheerleading this error and stain on our collective reputation and history, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I know some of you have lost the capacity for shame, so I am ashamed on your behalf, especially that I share kinship with you loathsome lot. You have been sucked in to believe the egregious heresies that raw power, illicit money, lawlessness, brigandage, cruelty, and barbarism, is tantamount to being a master strategist. How sad. And so I ask again, who bewitched you? Who bewitched us? Yorubas, who bewitched you? Well, history is a great tutor, gentle and kind to the wise, but harsh and brutal, especially to the foolish. History shines its light on pitfalls and quicksands, which the wise avoids, but the foolish in their folly are consumed. History is replete with stories of the rise and falls of nations, oftentimes instigated by crooked and power-drunken idiots. Germany was a great nation of even greater people with a mightily rich history, but the Germans fell in love with a lunatic and megalomaniac who seduced a great and proud people into bigotry, racism, sectarianism, lawlessness, mindless barbarism, corruption, global warfare, and record-setting genocide. The same Germans who gave the world George Friedrich Handel, Ludwig van Beethoven, Johann Sebastian Bach, Johannes Brahms, Richard Wagner, etc., etc. Great musical composers, classical musical composers. Yet, this same Germany, although has recovered from the physical and economic devastation of the Second World War, but can the stain of millions cremated alive in Auschwitz, Srebrenica, etc., can this stain ever be erased? The answer is a big no. So, as I wrap up, I return to the verse of scripture which says, "Do not remove the ancient landmarks which your fathers have set." End of quote. Proverbs 22:28. Olusegun Obasanjo was a decorated war general and former military dictator. Yet, as civilian president, his vice, Atiku Abubakar, took him to court 11 times, and Obasanjo lost the 11 times. Yet, he never stripped the judiciary of their venerated cloak of independence or impartiality. Yorubas, can we think and return to the path of our great ancestors set for us? Can we just think? Can we have some moments of self-introspection? This present-day band of political mercenaries are merely vagabonds in power. Apologies to Fela Anikulapo Kuti. These people lack basic noble human values of discipline, integrity, honor, sobriety, compassion, empathy, respect for rules and regulations, and time-honored traditions and conventions. They are not Omoluabis, and damn it, they do not represent who we are. They do not. This set of, buccaneers, these bandits in power do not represent who we are. They don't. I hope and pray we can retrace our steps urgently. And when this season of anomy is over, we can purge ourselves of the poison in our system. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.
So, breaking, the Arewa APC forum in Kano has withdrawn its support for T-Pain's second term bid, citing nepotism, incompetence, and corruption as reasons for its decision. I will pull up the letter in a bit. I have the letter. We can read it together. Okay, this is one. This is APC tout. This is one that is APC tout. He said me that you give am food, you go your votes. Yeah, he say they abuse obedience. Say obedience are toxic. Obedience are the worst scam. Look, we listen to him rant.
Yes, fans mi tí ẹ bá ti tẹ̀ka fún APC ẹ máa fún yín nígbà tí 30 million. Ṣé ẹ gbọ́? Yes, tó bá ti tẹ̀ka fún APC wà á jẹ́ ìgbà tí 30 million wà á fẹ́ ìkọ̀kọ̀. Fans mi tí Tinubu ló kàn bàbá sí ìlànà ẹ̀sìn ẹ̀ Tinubu ló máa jẹ́ first president tó máa rẹ̀ mẹ́ta lẹ́wọ̀n ti gbà.
Hey, that's Tinubu's legacy right there. Meanwhile, EFCC just dey steady dey raid people houses. Young people, old people, na so e just dey raid. Dem dey raid. People are waking up. Look at the line of young people lining up to get their PVC. Young people. I'm so proud. I'm so happy that all this our labor is not dey in vain. Say they listen. See the queue. Every day people are waking up and are going to get registered. Congratulations to us. Somebody took an opinion poll of on TikTok, majority went to Peter Obi-Kwankwaso. Let's listen to this. Okay, I can't hear. There's no volume, but basically the person was just showing us the poll. That's all the person was doing. So let's move forward. Meanwhile, Seyi Tinubu, they say they get life after school summit, annual summit. People will never get jobs for their life. They won't come teach you when young how to get job. God, a full day workshop for over 500 students covering various aspects of essential learning that enables them to be employable. Please, what work has Seyi ever done in his goddamn life? What work? And look at the lineup. All of them all benefiting from the government. Even this chessman, he has been collecting on Twitter. I think he deactivated his account at one time and came back. Tunde Onokoya. Disappointment. Kunle Afolayan is here. I don't know who this person is. Mojisola Hunponu. I don't know. Ayodele Olawande. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Minister for Youth Development, Federal Republic of Nigeria. This one na CEO, Woodhall Capital International. Founder, Cap Academy. Aramide Abe, founder, Naija Startups. Bankole Williams, CEO, LYD Consulting. Tunde Onokoya, founder, Chess in Slum Africa. Stella Fubara, Global Hospitality and Tourism Lead. Osita Opara Ogu, founder. I no know wetin that one be. Abirito, even Mama Diola. Mama Diola is a lie. Hey, oh my God, I dey gbadun this guy comedy. Hey, anyway, moving along. I didn't even notice Mama Diola there. Okay, let's go on. Now, Tinubu has ordered the arrest of Buhari's Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Remember that woman, Sadiya Umar Farouk? Why? Yeah, they arrest her over an alleged 2.4 billion, 2.59 billion. Since Tinubu enter, he not do anything, no. As soon as the woman husband, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, declare Bauchi state ambition under ADC, bam, Tinubu move, say go and arrest her. So anyway, now look at what this is. There's a dangerous trend that's happening in Nigeria, where the institutions in Nigeria are weaponized against the Igbos. It is so obvious now, even the blind and the deaf can see. And I mean, I say that respectfully, right? To those who cannot see and those who cannot hear. It's I beg, it's not in a negative way, please. The police, Nigerian police, they snuck in a name into somebody's name, painting the person as an Igbo person. Do you know how many we've seen that's happened like that? Military, police don't join them now. All the government institutions in Nigeria under this Tinubu weaponized against the Igbos. God abeg, God forbid. This government has to go. If you even say a semblance of the truth, they will tag you Igbo. If you call out the mess, they will tag you Igbo. Let me read what this person said. Engineer Shaibu, he says, bro, the official handle of the Nigerian police force literally snuck an Igbo name into the full name of the criminal Matthew Adebiyi to paint Igbos bad, and nothing is gonna be done. Nigeria is wild. Do you know they now have community notes? Community notes, that they add community notes now. Any lie when they talk, any lie when they want pin on Igbo people, community notes now, they tell them, they give the accurate information. It's the community notes that they are displaying. Hey! So here is the Arewa Forum statement, APC Forum. Announcement of withdrawal of support for TPay, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second term bid, to the general public, party stakeholders, and all concerned citizens. The Arewa APC Forum, Kano State Chapter, hereby formally announces the withdrawal of its support for the second term bid of TPay. This decision follows extensive consultation and careful reflection on the direction of governance at the federal level. The forum has resolved that it can no longer, in good conscience, continue to lend support to an administration widely criticized for nepotism, incompetence, and corruption. We believe that leadership must inspire confidence, uphold fairness, and demonstrate a sincere commitment to national unity, institutional integrity, and responsible governance. Where these values are persistently undermined, silence becomes complicity. Accordingly, the Arewa APC Forum in Kano wishes to make it clear that its confidence in the current political direction has been withdrawn, and its members are advised to act in line with this position in all future engagements. The statement is issued in the public interest and in defense of democratic accountability, good governance, and collective aspirations of the Nigerian people. Signed, Dr. Salah Hakilu Kibiya. Weleke. New song for Peter Obi, loading every day. So my people, I want to bring you to this. I don't know what has happened to David Hundeyin. Somebody needs to pour me water, because wetin I dey hear when they come out from this guy mouth, I dey shock. Is this what Pan-Africanism turns people into? Hey, God abeg o. Yeah. Make una listen, abeg.
What Nigeria is going through now is what the DRC was going through maybe 15, 20 years ago, for the same reasons, and it's being organized by the exact same people. For the longest, there is a misconception that the natural resource wealth of Nigeria is concentrated in the Niger Delta region or in the southern part of Nigeria. That is completely untrue. The bulk of Nigeria's natural resource endowment is actually concentrated in the north and the middle belt, specifically the middle belt. There's a very large amount of artisanal, what we call artisanal mining going on there, which is a fancy term for illegal mining. It's a huge business with involvement from every player you can imagine. European, American, Australian, Canadian, Chinese, everybody has a stake in this thing.
In law, that may be a secondary evidence. I'm not completely countenancing his opinion. There are vestiges of truth in some areas, of course, because you cannot completely divorce conspiracy theories from this. But as it relates to us, he never really got it right. It's a matter of direct evidence. Some of us hold direct evidence. He has sold what is holding the secondary evidence. Research, check. We were dealing with the people who are killing us directly. They told us why they are killing us. I come from a local government that is the center of gravity of these killings in Benue, Guma local government.
The people who are responsible for this, I guess you can call it the genocide, against indigenous people in these areas of the middle belt and northern Nigeria are the extractors. They are white men who come from the US, they come from Canada, they come from Australia, they come from all over. And their job is to ensure that they extract and that you get as little benefits from that extraction as possible. This guy who is working for some American guy that has an interest in destabilizing Benue or wherever, then comes and says, oh, it's my village or whatever, and he's not disclosing to you that he has an economic interest in selling this narrative, and that he's literally working for the very white people who are destabilizing Nigeria. He's actively working for them, and then pretending that he's a good guy. He's on the side of the oppressed people. He's trying to save his village. Meanwhile, I can see very clearly what is going on here. You are dealing with someone who is getting paid to say certain things. He's not saying these things for free.
I've been one of the most vociferous voices against this in the last 15 years. In the last 15 years, I committed my entire life to it. That is my story. I am a lawyer. I came to the United States to study Masters in Public Policy and Non-Profit Management. Do you know why I put that non-profit? That is what I studied. That was what I graduated in December with from the University of Central Oklahoma. Public policy and non-profit. The non-profit is to get people from here who can support our communities for what we've been going through. Why was I not doing a postgraduate law degree? British trained lawyer. You mean I'm needing an incentive to talk about my people, to talk about what I've been facing before coming here, to talk about the people killed, my own people, my siblings, my uncles, my aunties. So I need an incentive to talk about my nephew, a 1.5-year-old Sate Amaki, whose brain was burst, whose skull was burst, and his brain was spilled out. So I need an incentive to talk about my cousin, Dogo Kikin, who was shot, daddy, and killed, or to talk about my brother, Tembujo, who was burnt. I need an incentive to do that. I graduated in December, and I started working for Equipping the Persecuted in January. Just this year, in January.
So before, prior to this time, you didn't have anything to do with
Nothing. Prior to this time, I only made a presentation at the iconic National Press Building in Washington. I had the opportunity to work with Catholic charities, very good pay Catholic charities. I was given an employment card, but I was the one who reached out to Equipping the Persecuted because their focus is Nigeria.
Okay.
Their focus is Nigeria.
Okay.
So I want to see an avenue where I can help my people.
Which organization gets for waiting the gun for Nigeria?
Precious. Equipping the Persecuted has been working in Nigeria for the past 8 years. 8 years. It has been working in Nigeria. Josol first went to Nigeria. Josol, the executive director, first went to Nigeria in 2011 with his grandfather, who was a missionary. You have white missionaries scattered all around Nigeria. Many are in Benue. You see that Danish woman in Akwa Ibom. Those are missionaries. There are a lot of them in Nigeria. So Josol started, his first time was when he visited with his grandfather, and he saw what was happening in Nigeria. I visited 2 times a year with his grandfather. He saw what was happening. So he now took over from his grandfather, established Equipping the Persecuted to, as the name says, to equip these people. My own siblings, and the IDP camps in Makodi, we have about 1.4 million IDPs in Benue State. There's no single Muslim in the IDP camp in Benue. There's no single Muslim in the IDP camp in Nasarawa State. In IDP camps in Nasarawa State are in Obi local government, in Kiana local government, in Doma local government, and in Awe local government. There's no single Muslim. One. The IDP camp in Plateau, all these they are either in Riom, in Barkiladi, in Mangu. There's no Muslim. Maybe because of what happened in Kanam. Kanam is a local government that has considerable number of Muslims in Plateau, Kanam. Who are the Muslims in the IDP camp in Southern Kaduna? In the Kajuru that he went. Who are the Muslims? Jihad is an expensive venture. Does he know about the Muslim Brotherhood, what they've been doing? They've sponsored a lot of projects, a lot of researches in America, in Europe. Does he know what Qatar is doing with its multi-billion-dollar oil money? Does he know what Iran? How many times have arms been busted in Nigeria that were coming from Iran? You remember the time where this guy that owned Magic Land in Abuja, that Lebanese guy, where arms were busted that were coming from Iran to him around 2013 or so. Jihad is an expensive venture. The people, the Almajiri are the foot soldiers. He's talking about, he said, the genocide is an expensive, good and fine. But the Rwandan genocide, that is the most popular genocide in Africa. Were they millionaires who executed the genocide? Were they not just slippers wearing people? Were they not the neighbors who were carrying machetes and cutting the necks of their Tutsi neighbors? Hutus can, but in that same genocide, Hutus died. So for the fact that Muslims are dying does not take away the fact that it was a genocide. In the same Rwandan genocide, where Tutsis were killed, moderate Hutus were also killed. In the Christian genocide in Syria during the ISIS period, more Muslims were killed. In the commission of a crime, a criminal can come into a room and commit up to 10 crimes. If Islamist jihadists go to Zamfara and kill fellow Muslims, that is terrorism. If they come to Middle Belt and kill us because of our faith, because of our religion, that is genocide. One person committing different crimes. That is why we have count of charges when you are arraigned in court. He is trying to misinform everybody when he said we are saying Muslims are killing Christians. We are not saying Muslims. I told you here my mom is a Muslim. We are saying Islamists, radical Islamists are killing Christians. And it is not just in Nigeria, it is happening all over the world. What is happening in Europe? What is happening in America that America is resisting right now? What is happening even with the Iran itself? This is somebody who glorified Ayatollah. Ayatollah who killed within 2 days. He killed 60,000 of his people. In the last 47 years, they killed over millions of their people, and millions. There's no country in the world that has diaspora citizens like Iran. I saw his picture going to glorify Ayatollah, going to write condolence. So you can see where these guys are getting their energies from. You can see the ideology they believe. So for us,
listen, I mean, people have rights to believe what they have.
No, hold on. For us, it's not something strange now. The jihadis were not sponsoring Ivy League protests here in the United States. All these things he's telling you. The first from my Facebook, you saw where I posted a picture of me, Kyle Apps, Sarah Makin, and Sean Nelson of ADF. And he started talking as if, oh, these are people we know them. These are such nonsense. It's on my Facebook. I tagged all of them. Then he started feeling so comfortable trying to deceive an audience that may not know. It's right here on my Facebook. And my Facebook is not even restricted to friends. It's public. Because there's nothing secret. Truth Nigeria is this media subsidiary of Equipping the Persecuted. That's our media arm. Truth Nigeria have been giving terror tracks of what is happening. Are they ever giving any community terror track? But we'll be providing communities where attack will be happening the following day. Because why people on the ground? Look at the 5 pillars of Islam. Number 1 is Shahada. Number 2 is Hajj. You, within your lifetime, should endeavor to go to Hajj. Number 3 is the 5 prayers. Number 4 is Ramadan. You must observe the Ramadan. And then number 5 is Zakat, alms giving, pillar of Islam. In the history of Benue IDP, Plateau IDP, and Nasra IDP, there's no single Muslim group that has going to give alms in that. The IDP camps are the people in need more than anybody. The people in the IDP camp. Do you understand?
Oh, so you're saying that there is no alms giving at all?
Yes,
or even charitable acts?
No, from Islamic bodies.
From Islamic bodies.
Yes, there's none whatsoever from any Murik, Jamaat Nasr Islam, or Nigeria, or Sokoto Caliphate, or this Emirate, or Muslim Student Society, or none whatsoever. In the United States government here, confess, they say USID, this was what they were doing. Trump's government, to the extent that Trump has to stop funding them.
Everyone who is listening to this or watching this conversation probably is going to fall into 2 groups. There are those who, no matter what evidence is presented in front of them, they need the emotionally satisfying explanation, and they are going to get it from him, right? So I guess that's not my audience, right? The people I'm speaking to are people who have decided intentionally to be intelligent. I understand.
Can I take a moment? Because I'm sorry, but speaking from the perspective of an average human who have lost loved ones because of this massacre, would it be fair to call them emotional if the people who killed them say we're killing you?
It's not so funny. I was listening to you.
If we're here to listen to you drone for 30 minutes, then let me know.
How can you
right?
call us emotional?
So if we're here to just listen to you drone for 30 minutes, you can just let me know so that I can leave you to drone by yourself. Right? It's supposed to be a conversation. So if I don't get to speak and you just want to hear yourself talk, I can leave it for you so you can hear yourself talk. If that's what you want. No, if that's what you want, just say so. All you have to do is just say the word. Right? If you love the sound of your voice so much, all you have to do is just let me know, and I'll leave you to talk to yourself.
No, but I will need an apology.
You are not getting one.
Let's let him.
You are absolutely not getting one.
So
it's either we're here to have a conversation or you are here to listen to yourself talk. You will make your decision.
$9 million is working on these guys. We know them. We know them. These are the jihadis.
I'm sorry, you have to be on the side now.
I'm telling you, I was
just like Uto has said. He said that specifically said that they are there because the people refuse to give their land to them. So if people have lost their loved ones in the hands of people who kill them for that reason, would it be fair for you to call them emotional?
It will be fair for them to want to know who is responsible for it, for what happened to their loved ones. So again, it comes down to the question, do you want the emotionally satisfying answer or do you want the actual answer? Because often the two are not the same. He said that sometime in the 70s or the 80s, all of a sudden out of nowhere, Nigeria all of a sudden started drifting toward Sharia, as he puts it, which is true. That did happen. All of a sudden, seemingly, this extremely conservative brand of Sunni Islam, this Wahhabi Salafi Islam, came into Nigeria. This was a movement that was incubated in Saudi Arabia under the guidance of the US State Department. It was a vehicle for winning the Cold War. This all happened under the watchful gaze of the US State Department, which stage managed all these events. They were the ones who created the so-called transition to democracy. They were the ones who got rid of Abacha. They were the ones who made Obasanjo president. All of this happened under their watch. And somehow, in the process of exterminating Christians or Christianity or whatever, they somehow managed to kill more Muslims overall than Christians. This would have to be the most incompetently executed.
What's the statistics that more Muslims have died more than Christians? What's the statistics?
These statistics are readily available. Again, you can literally Google it. From the US State Department, the US State Department reports.
From the look of the US communities that have been run over, that are currently non-existent, or that have been taken over by
the US State Department report on religious freedom in Nigeria states this, that overall, the number of Muslims that has died is more than the number of Christians that has died. You can confirm this. Again, this is why I keep on stressing that people need to stop listening to whose voice is the loudest in the room and start looking at the actual data. Because there are people like Mr. Frank, whose job is to come here and do their voice modulation and do their voice up and down and juggle your emotions and make you feel a certain type of way, even though they're talking absolute nonsense.
No.
Wow.
So, from what we have on ground, from all the communities that have been run over, that the people in those communities are no more. And from the number of people we have in IDP camp right now, what is the number of Christians versus Muslims? Because I do
again, go to the U.S. State Department report
than Muslims, but I don't know.
Go to the U.S. State Department report on religious freedom in Nigeria.
So why would I believe U.S. reports against what I have on hand? I have spoken to people on IDP.
Data is what we need, not gist, not anecdotes.
The same US they cause it and get the evidence of these statistics. Because unlike waiting like they see on ground, I have done my research around.
When you say you have gone around, so you have gone around Middle Belt and Northern Nigeria, and you have concluded that more Christians died than Muslims.
Just hold on. I have done my investigation around IDP camps and displaced communities. Evidence shows that there are more Christian displaced communities than Muslim displaced communities. And evidence shows that there are much more Christians. There are more Christians.
Evidence from who? Because this is just a thing you are saying. It is not true.
You and I can visit IDP camps. I will go see.
It is categorically not true. This thing you just said. You cannot defend that in court. It is not true.
IDP camps. The ones in Benue, the ones in Plateau, the ones in Abuja. Which of them will make we go to? I'm not vexed. I just they ask. And my at least my statistics may not be all that. Okay.
Thanks for your great job. You've been doing a very good job.
Can I just go, please? Like, I don't know, talking to more people. Like.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you and welcome.
Okay.
Hi, Laura. You're welcome. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
To your guests. I want to point out a researcher's bias here. We know that David was born into a Jehovah's Witness family. He later claimed
Precious, please, can we move to the next caller, please? This person is making me lose my temper. Please, can we move on to somebody who actually has something to say? Like, what is all this nonsense? Precious, since you are here to waste your time and hours, I'm just going to...
David, can you just calm down? Let people just have their thoughts, please. People actually have actual
Why is she here to waste my time? And you are letting her do it? I'm holding you responsible for this.
Wow. All right. Thank you. You've made your point. Please, let's the show.
I'm calling in from Canada. Liberals don't like intelligent discourse. And David had just proven that. He's a liberal. He ran away. He didn't want to stay and hear what other opinion have to say about this issue. How about him? What is his what is his opinion in this? Is he also doing it for financial gain? Who is paying him? Is Russia or China paying him? He conveniently mentioned Canada, US, Australia as part of the countries that are stealing resources from the north. Did you hear him mention Russia and China? Just because you are driving a narrative.
Maybe not entirely true. Maybe he just keeps his mind. You can't tell.
How come that in every situation around the world, that is only the radical Islamic arm? Why don't we have a radical Christian arm that also committing some atrocities in the north? Why is it that America conveniently sponsors radical Islamic terrorists, but cannot conveniently, with that same knowledge band that they have in doing so, not do it with Christians also? David wants us to look at the State Department documents. He talked about State Department documents and all the rest of them. And he wants us to think intelligently. Now you are telling me that a document that was written supersedes eyewitness accounts. Where you can see, if you go to IDP camps and we see that there are a lot of Christians more than Muslims, we should negate that fact and take a report that was written by an armchair theorist who got his information from hearsay. No, Precious, how intelligent is that?
My people, I say make no blame me because I usually sometimes I don't have time to be catching up with Precious. And I was shocked. I said, "Is this the same David Udenyi? Somebody pour me water." What happened to David Udenyi? So, anyway, that's that. Moving along. The one where they focus on now past this one. So it's okay. That's human life for you. Nature. Today here, tomorrow not here. So nothing else to add.
That the people that God has used to bless you are suffering. They are suffering. And, think about it also this way, that these things, this insecurity and these killings and all of these things might not affect you now, but what about tomorrow? You might think you have protection, you have backing, it can never touch you. We don't know what will happen. We don't know how it could happen, but we wouldn't need to worry about that if the country is actually working, if we actually have leaders that are actively working to ensure that the life of every Nigerian is secured. Always just remember that
if celebrities like, may they hear. If they like, may they not hear. Anyway, my people, now here I go, liver. I go try come back. Not guaranteed, but I go try come back. Oriyomi, as you dey ask, na so me sef ask. So I said somebody should pour me water yesterday. I could not believe it. I could not. I was like, wow. David fell all the way off. See how conveniently he mentioned Australia, UK, America. He not mention China when they mine bastard comot for north. He not mention China when they pay people, when they pay all these terrorists to dey kpai people, to dey scare people away so that they go continue to mine. He not mention, he get one man, na Germany, abi Ukraine, na the man come from. He not mention am. Ha! Omo, if you not use your brain, other people will use it for you. I'm telling you. As I don't talk and since I don't trust anybody. I don't trust any goddamn person. I'm side-eyeing everyone. Because this is crazy. This is wild. People are telling you their pain. You are seeing it. You are telling the people to their faces that it is a lie. Hey, God, I beg. Please. To Atlantic, you say you knew all along he was an agent. I don't know about that too. I don't know about that. I cannot say I cannot say I agree with you on that one. No. But too, I think David has been put under duress to run an agenda. Possibly. Maybe he's trying to make money, he's always on the run. So hey, maybe circumstances. His behavior and intolerance, very bad. He's become extremely impatient. Look at him, rude. Saying he cannot be talking to Mumu. Are you okay? This is why I say I have problem with people who went to Ivy League schools. Nigerian people that went to Ivy League schools. I'm yet to see ones that have great mindsets, that have the mind to work for the people. I'm telling you, I'm yet to see them. Anyway, my people, make I end am for here. Make una get nice day. I go see una on my next one. Bye, everyone. I'm ending this show with shock on my face.